All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning.
Welcome to Japan Fighting Game Publishers Roundtable here, bright and early. So I'm Juna, joined with the producer of the Tekken series. How you doing, Michael?
Good. You know, all things considering, yourself.
Yeah.
Nice beard, by the way.
Thank you. It's getting there. But yeah, it's been a pretty wild year, I guess, from the start. So there haven't been a lot of offline events. There haven't been a lot of opportunities for devs to get together, chat with the players. So I believe you guys, it was your team that came up with the idea to host this?
Right. So, basically, all of our plans got destroyed because of this whole COVID situation. Everyone was planning for a certain event, and I was like, wait a second, I'm sure everyone else is doing the same thing, right? And then when we were trying to pivot to do something else, I just said, hey, Harada, why don't you reach out to these guys, because he has connections to all of them.
Yeah.
And we kind of brought them all together. So, yeah, it was a lot of work to get everyone on the same stream. But hopefully we'll have something, bright news and whatever for everyone to look forward to.
Yeah. So, everyone, thank you for joining us. As you see, we have the producers, developers from a lot of different games here. The idea for this stream is we're going to spend the first hour or so. We're going to just be discussing some questions that we took from Twitter. So we didn't pick the questions, I'm sorry. So whatever they discuss, whatever they choose to discuss, we're just going to listen up. We'll translate what we can. It's going to be rough with, 13 people? 11 people, sorry, talking together. But then the second half of the stream, I know a lot of you guys on Twitter are looking forward to this, but there will be some announcements, some surprises. So make sure you stick around for the whole thing.
Yeah, all these publishers from Japan in the same room. We got SNK, Capcom, ARC. We got ourselves as well. Even, Koei Tecmo.
You got Nishitani, the father of Street Fighter 2 right here.
So obviously it's not normal. Juna and Michael, we're going to have to be on our best behavior today.
I don't want to get canceled here.
Right. Pretty exciting, though. So if you guys aren't familiar, on the bottom left, that's Yesterday Esports. So he's kind of like our guy in Japan who does the esports stuff, similar to maybe what Ayano-san would be doing for Capcom. So he's going to be kind of helping to proceed the event today.
But yeah, right now, guys, we're just doing a self-introduction. That was Pachi. I guess he changed his name to Sekine. He doesn't want to...
Yeah, that's his real name,
but
he
doesn't want to use his gamer name.
Most people probably know him as Pachi, right? Now we're seeing Nishitani-san, the legend.
The legend. People, currently he's created Fighting X Layer, but this guy is known for, he made Street Fighter 2, the original Final Fight back here. So this guy is considered a godfather in the Japanese FGC.
And then we got Oda-san up here in the left with the director Kuroki from SNK.
Yeah. So these guys are out in Osaka, right there in the west, the west part of Japan. You see that little blue bar in the middle? So they
social distancing properly.
We should do that too out here.
Have an invisible bar you can't see, right? This is Kuroki-san, the director.
Good morning. Yeah, everyone's saying good morning because out here, guys, it's 9 a.m. I was up at 6:30. I think a lot of these guys were here. They wanted to make sure that they did this for the kind of overseas audience, all right? That's why we're out here and getting ready for the Western prime time rather than Japan.
And some of the people had the fancy backgrounds, you could tell, but then we got Yesterday Esports and Harada from their house. This is actually Harada's personal mic that he bought and set up for work from home.
It looks pretty expensive here. But here's Matsumoto-san and Nakayama-san from Capcom. I think overseas they're not known as well as some of the other people, but these guys have been kind of creating Street Fighter 5 the whole time, right?
The development team, right? So this is one of those rare instances we get to see them and hear their thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, so he's saying, right, Nakayama-san has been since Ultra Street Fighter 4, so he's been part of the director of the Street Fighter series, so
cool.
It's my first time seeing him out in the face here.
I believe I've met him during the Street Fighter Cross Tekken stuff.
Koei Tecmo, Shinbori-san, Dead or Alive 6 producer right here. This is kind of, I'm used to seeing, you see Capcom and Tekken, they meet up and they talk a lot. This is the first time I've really seen Koei Tecmo get involved in this kind of group. I think this is a cool opportunity now.
Shinbori-san just mentioned he's been on the series for 16 years now. That's quite respectable.
Years.
Wow.
16 years. Yeah, I guess, this game's been around a while. I remember I played it first on, Dreamcast?
Next year will be my 20th on the Tekken series. Isn't that crazy?
You gotta have a party or something like that. And again, here's Mochie. So again, guys, still just self-introductions. After this, we will start the discussion. What will they discuss? I don't know. I read some of the questions out there. A lot of, there's been like 100+ different topics that they're asking, but they can only do, I think, five. But I don't even know if we'll be able to do 5. Right? They have 5 ready. They don't know if they're going to be able to get it all. But the good news is that they did say they are considering doing more of these, right?
Yeah, if everyone tunes in, everyone likes it. Yep. And now we just had Okubo, as you know, our producer for Soul Calibur 6.
You said it looked like you're wearing a tie-dye shirt. That might be the Soul Calibur shirt.
It looks like the Soul Edge and the Soul Calibur colors. Obviously Harada.
Yeah.
He said he's blurred out the background, but it's from his house.
Yeah, he says he's at home, right? Some people, like you see SNK's at the studio.
Yeah. So we just kind of mentioned, what I was just talking about with you about how this whole thing came about.
Right. So they said they were asking people trying to figure out who do we invite? Who do we invite? Right. Who do we invite to this kind of gathering? Right. Because there's so many people involved. So they're kind of cracking jokes here.
And people maybe don't get the gravity of the situation. Like Western devs, maybe they can just decide themselves, hey, dude, let's do a stream. But that's not how it's done in Japan. To get all these companies on board and to have
very strict out here, right?
them allow it, this is, really something special.
And then Yasuda, he's going to be one of the MCs of the event, right? Down here.
Along with Fuhi-san, I believe, as well, right?
Yeah, Fui's the one that you hear talking right now.
Cool.
So yeah, self-introductions are over, and they're going to show up the time schedule right now, so let's see. So from 9:15,
we got the roundtable discussion, right? And he's just explaining what Juna said about we gathered these on Twitter beforehand.
And then from 10 is the announcements. So we had rehearsal last night. I got spoiled on some of them, but all I'll say is definitely stick around and definitely get on Twitter. And when this is over, people are gonna go crazy.
But this stuff's been locked down. We haven't even seen a lot of it, right?
I got spoiled yesterday. I was like,
just that one. But.
All right, so I think a little bit, it's supposed to start at 15, but a little bit early. They're going to start the talk show.
Okay.
So they're taking the questions off Twitter.
So now it seems like we're proceeding.
Thank you, everybody, for the self-introductions. They said they took some of the questions from English as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's not just Japanese questions. Some of you guys from overseas get your questions involved in here.
Yeah, Yasuda, I don't know. You guys can't tell probably, but he's got this really thick Kansai dialect.
The other thing that they also mentioned earlier is that, since Mike also kind of brought it up, is that there's all these different companies, right? So if one company is okay with something, but another company is not, they can't really discuss this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we have to find a topic that everybody involved can discuss and share their opinions on. So that's what he's mentioning. We're trying to decide which questions to pick here.
Yeah, I mean, it really is so much going into coordinating all of this, so including the questions and what they're going to talk about.
We are used to the West a little bit more wild. You get a little bit more free to speak here, but it's still quite strict out here.
But I did feel that they picked some really fair questions this time, so we'll see.
Obviously, it's only 5, so not every question that people want. I know there's some big ones that people really want that might not get touched on this one, but hopefully, again, if you guys can keep the reception, say, I like this kind of content, please bring us more, they can do it again and maybe hit them up. But anyway, here we go. They said each question they're going to do about 8 minutes or so they're going to discuss.
Yep. We don't have a raising hand button either, so we'll see how this works, right? So now he's saying, there we go, the English, right? Selection of roster characters.
So they're going to start with Capcom, but you've experienced with this as well, right?
Oh yeah,
You've been involved with picking some characters.
Yeah, and we've kind of, Harada and I have been pretty vocal about that. Comes up on Comic-Con panels, etc. Okay. So now just talk about listening to
the
user feedback, but also think about their user base and try to kind of discern what kind of taste they would like. And now
Harada's gonna. I feel like Harada's gonna turn
he's
into the
putting him on the
MC.
spot,
Yeah.
right? He's like, okay.
I feel like Harada. Yeah, oh, he's telling him. Good, good. He heard your request. So raise your hand when you talk, right here, so we can see.
So we got Matsumoto-san here.
Yeah. Yeah. So the one thing about Street Fighter that he's mentioning that compared to some other games is that Street Fighter's been around for I don't know 30 plus years.
Yes, yes.
So they have a lot of
35 maybe.
yeah,
I think, right?
a lot of
Yeah.
very classic, very iconic characters there.
A large pool that they have to choose from, right?
So they're talking about how Street Fighter doesn't just take classic characters, but also characters from other series in the Capcom, like Final Fight and things like that.
Even now, he's touched on something we also take into consideration, and that's the martial art, and also the nationality of the character.
Yeah. I know Harada's talked about that a lot, right? You want to make sure the character is liked in that country, but also does justice, right?
Right.
I know with
And again-
Shaheen, he talked a lot about it.
And like us as well, he was talking about trying to not have as many characters in the same vein
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have a lot of variety there. And then other characters that might be a good format to try new
Yeah, try
mechanics or
new
new
gameplay
ideas,
and stuff.
right?
So like, let's try and have the development team, come up with new ideas, new mechanics, and keep pushing the genre forward here.
本当に世界各地のファイターがストリートファイターってやっぱり現実の世界にやっぱちょっと近い。
And then he's
Yeah.
talking about his, Street Fighter is close to the real world. I think he's talking about locations, right?
Yeah, he's saying too that Street Fighter, every game is different. So you have, like Arxis games, which are very anime, very like kind of fantasy inspired. But Street Fighter is very close to kind of reality. Even though they're doing fireballs and everything, it kind of takes place in the real world. So
Yeah,
they
it's
want to have
World Warriors, and
Yeah.
you had that map where the airplane
Yeah.
kind of goes to a different location in between fights, right?
So when they're deciding characters, they got to try and keep a character that's a little bit more realistic, rather than like we're not going to put it, even though they have Blanca, but like we're not going to throw like a dinosaur man out there. Who's talking now?
So now who do we have talking?
Put your hand. It must be Fuhi. Fuhi's talking. I
Okay,
guess,
yeah, we don't see anyone,
I was like,
so-
raise your hand, dude.
Let's talk about the game system changes quite drastically from different installments. And so, also with the planned system for whatever installment they're working on,
Yeah.
which characters might blend well with
Yeah,
that.
right. So like Street Fighter V has its own game design. So maybe you might want your favorite character from an older Street Fighter. They're saying that character might not fit with the Street Fighter V game design, and they don't want to change him so much. So
That's
Yeah.
like they're saying. It's like one of the things they
Yeah,
consider
yeah. Again,
in
it's
regards
just
to many, right?
more and more and more. What I want to know is how much does Twitter get involved? Because whenever I see these guys on Twitter, they're asking like, "Give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that." Do you have any insight? How often do you guys listen to the Twitter monsters?
Rod and I are probably on one end of the spectrum where we're quite in tune with what they're saying. Okubo-san maybe somewhat like that. I'm not sure about the other
They haven't
producers.
mentioned it. They
We
just said
haven't
the
really talked about
users,
it.
right? I want to hear social media.
And obviously, there's differences in how much English that each of these producers can comprehend directly as well, right? Harada being an MMORPG guy himself, playing with foreign players for a long time, understands quite a bit of English actually. And now he's talking. Harada just mentioned about he believes Street Fighter, the opinions differ depending on which installment that player
Because
base
the game
got
is-
into the
The
series,
game is
right?
so old, right? So people that were with the original, people that started with 5, right? They might have different ideas of what they think is cool or what kind of character should be in the game.
So just saying, like, if you do a poll to ask opinions about characters, it's kind of hard to see because you don't know which player generation that is, right?
Yeah, and the other thing too is it's going to be younger players, right?
Yeah.
Usually the younger players, the guys more socially connected
Yeah.
on social media and the internet. Those are guys are going to mash on the poll, right? The old men don't know what they're doing.
Another thing he's mentioned is kind of funny. We see this a lot where you'll get a particular character that's like stands out on the polls online, right?
Yeah.
But then if you actually release it, it's
No
not
one-
as well compared to the other characters sales-wise, right?
Like it.
Yeah, we won't mention names. And then Matsumoto-san's also mentioning how we kind of think too that you take it as one ingredient, right, to your decision.
Yeah.
And if it matches up to what you perceive the player base wants, then it's just one like thing to kind of test that theory, but it's not like the deciding factor in
Yeah.
itself. And Rad also explaining, as we often say for our title, we take user opinions, but we also take the background data, usage, etc.
This is a hard question, right? Because there's no answer, right? There's a trillion different things that come in there. I wonder if we're going to hear from the other producers as well.
Yeah, hopefully they can jump in. You know, it's kind of hard to grab the mic from Harada sometimes, right? Now he's talking about, this is another topic we often touch on, that player usage and popularity is not necessarily the same thing, right?
So they're also talking, he mentioned like how strong they are too, right? So he's like, some characters, because they're strong in the game,
used more often,
they'll get used more often. It doesn't mean they're popular, right? It's just more people are going to play that character because, you know, they have a very high win percentage there. So gathering like concrete data is very, very difficult, is what they're saying. He's
talking about Shake, the salmon, when we had our poll for what kind of player, maybe 2 years ago. This is like something I heard when I first joined the team, but way long ago. They had a salmon character.
Salmon the fish?
He was bouncing on the stage, right?
Okay.
And he got, you know, he didn't make the final cut way back when, but Harada put it in just to see, right? And also, there was a data point in the game that when someone they reverse engineered and they found the data for it, right? So he's like, maybe it's not a good idea for Tekken to have Shake in there.
Maybe I shouldn't put him in a 2D fighting game. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have a fish in a 2D fighting game here.
There's a praying mantis as well.
I mean, you guys put in dinosaurs and fighting kangaroos, right? I think it's not too weird. So he's like, how's it gonna fight? Like, how are we gonna make a fish
Tail
fight?
slap, right?
How are we gonna make a fish fight? Harada's saying in like a 2D fighting game.
People are complaining about Zafina not being able to hear her, right? Imagine a fish lying on the ground. It's gonna have to stomp or use Paul's like down punch,
about a lot of stuff, man. I feel now it's not a time for Harada. Don't bring back the salmon. We don't need them.
Nah, no salmon, please. I'm trying to have a peaceful Twitter account at the moment.
So now he's gonna ask. So Capcom.
It's kind of hard to answer after that, right?
This Capcom gave you like every possible answer. Now he's asking the other people, what do you guys think? They're gonna say the same. Yeah. They're all like, yeah, it's about the same.
So,
oh, there you go. They mentioned, so Koei Tecmo was a little bit, they said, you know, we take everything that Capcom said, but there's also what we want to make, right? They said characters that we want to make, as well as characters that fit in the story, like we design them. And then after they come up with the idea of the base, you know, you discuss with the marketing team is like, what kind of character should we make actually? Like, what would be good for the game?
Setting, right?
Yeah, where should they come from? What country? So that's kind of like a little bit reverse of what I thought, right? They make the character first, then like kind of the design and the story after. I thought it'd be kind of the opposite, but marketing is important.
Now they're talking about hold? Who is this talking at the moment?
Shimbori is
still, right?
Yeah. Who? They're talking about a character.
I didn't catch that one.
He was talking about a character before that he was forced to cosplay as. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we gotta be careful here.
So he's like, if you're talking about Dead or Alive, right? Dead or Alive.
It's all about the cute girls, right?
He's like, what kind of characters do you want? He's like, well, if Dead or Alive series, it's all about the girls. Cute girls like there is what everybody wants. He knows his audience, I guess.
The tension. Come on. Something that was around Virtua 5 during that time. And then he was thinking, you know, Dead or Alive 5 at the same time.
They both had 5, so they had a little bit of competition.
Let's do something cool together,
Yeah,
and he also they had the Shiranui Mai and
from SNK,
Kula from SNK as well.
And then Dead or Alive 5, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Akira, right? I think they had Akira from Virtua Fighter. So that's how they decided on the guest character, was like, let's work together and also have like a little bit of competitive rivalry here.
So yeah, they got to be strong and cute. That's their one of their criteria, right?
He's like, if you make it like any your character's gonna take in as guest characters by the DOA series here.
確かに。
だってでもそれで言ったら SNK さんもカプコン並みに歴史は深いわけですから。
And then Harada just mentioned SNK's got very long running franchises as well. You must have lots of requests, especially from the China area, East Asia.
Yeah, it's like Tekken too, like these legacy series. I mean, basically every game here is like 20 plus years, so they all have really long history, a lot of different characters and franchises in there.
あ、そうかそうか。もともとラインナップが多いからどうせ入れれるよみたいな。そうですね。
Trying to get the gist of it, it seems like Oda-san's saying that they have so many different franchises that they're able to fit a lot of these requests into at least one of them, right?
And they say what the fans want, right? It's like we have so many like IPs ready to go. It's like we listen to the fans and then throw them in here.
I was talking about Shiki at the moment. One of my favorites. Sam Show, right?
Yeah, she's very, very popular.
So I think it's saying, and this is another important topic, that when you look at the lineup, if it's a bunch of old men
right?
characters, right?
Sam Show didn't have any cute girls on release.
Right, and you got to think of balance in that regard as well. They're talking about Wanfu.
Yeah, Wanfu's the big, the Chinese monk guy.
With the big sword, right?
No, he's got the big pillar.
Pillar, that's right,
he's
in
like
the beads.
The grappler there, yeah. So he's like, man, our lineup is all just dudes. It's old dudes, man. We got to get some cute girls in there. So that's kind of what Capcom mentioned too about balancing your roster and seeing like what you needed here.
That's always tough for us too, especially because the player base is quite divided on whether they want really cute girls or they want more realistic buff fighters. It's hard to please everyone in that aspect. So is this Daisuke at the moment?
Yeah, Lord Daisuke Bless. But he's saying the first thing they decide is how many
number of characters, right?
Like how many characters can be in the game, and then after you have that kind of limitation, then you can decide who, and, like what type, and everything. So again, he's talking about the same thing. The same thing that SNK mentioned. He's like, yeah, you got to make sure it's not just all old dudes, and you got to get some different archetypes and stuff in there.
This is a good topic too. He's saying you really have to think about the looks of the character and their popularity in that, and then the popularity of the play styles.
Yeah.
Because they're not necessarily one and the same.
He also mentioned the ease of play too, right? You can't have like 10 super duper technical, difficult to play characters, right? You have to have some that are technical, some are a little bit easier to play, like the ease of use of the cast here.
It's a very good topic, and we're gonna spend the whole time on this, maybe. Right?
No, they have on the schedule. They have it. They're gonna cut it. They said they're just gonna talk, and then they're gonna cut it down. So yeah, all of those factors that they're taking in, and then the new ideas that they have for a new character and how that blends into the existing roster, right? So we have to just take the opinions, and they have to be aware when they decide all the new stuff in here.
I think they're like, Yasuda, come on, you gotta.
Yeah.
Yasuda's being really soft here, saying we should probably move on to the next topic, right?
Yeah, that's Yasuda's job is to stop. Next question.
It's tough though. I mean, I'm glad I'm not him. I mean, if it's Harada or Okobe, you can just be like, hey, come on, let's go. But it can't just be like that with the other publishers, right?
The future crossplay.
Oh, this is one of those difficult ones. What does he got here?
What?
This is boss. You don't know who this is?
No, who is it?
Hayashi-san from Team Ninja, the leader.
Oh, word?
Yeah, Hayashi-san.
再開してもらえませんかね。急に1年で運営やめられるとちょっとファンとしては悲しいんだけど、どうかな。
What happened? He quit?
林さんが許してくれさるならぜひ。
大丈夫で予算出すよ。予算みんなで。
マジっすか。
What? He's saying about to keep the live operations of a certain game going. I'm not sure which one. I didn't catch it. And then he said, well, there's budgeting and all that. And Harada said, oh, I'll take care of the budgeting. I don't know what he meant by that. But
Shimbori said, Shimbori's like, if this Mochi holding him aside and said, stop, cut, no. Shimbori is like, if you got the budget, we'll do it.
Oh, this is the Japanese thing, right?
So that guy was Koei Tecmo's boss?
Hayashi-san, he's the team leader for Team Ninja.
Oh, okay.
And he was probably, I think, the producer on like previous DOA titles, but like often happens, he got higher up positions. Now he's in charge of the whole team, I believe. Alright, so now they're talking about the technical difficulties of crossplay. Not that hard, maybe, because it's peer-to-peer.
Yeah.
It's not like a dedicated server in most instances.
He was saying like each fighting game has different ways they connect online too. So he's saying everyone besides Capcom, but hold on.
So he's saying it's not really a technical barrier. I'm kind of curious to see what he's going to say from here. He's talking about PS3 and Xbox One error. He made a PowerPoint presentation saying he wants to do crossplay and approach the first parties.
Yeah. Right.
Because mobile titles and other these were
doing
pretty
it,
popular at the time, and to compete with them, he wants to open up the platform. But he said the first parties they would say to him, well, we want to do it.
That's very, very.
Like Phil Spencer from Xbox, he was mentioned by name, was like, yeah, sure, man, let's do it.
I think it's kind of a sad ending here.
And we're open about it. We want to do it. And he said the Sony person, point of contact changed.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, we would like
Let's do it.
to discuss it.
Yeah.
Discuss it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They're all sounding very kind of receptive of the idea,
exactly.
but it sounds like it's gonna.
But there's a lot of things that you have to overcome. Especially like a free-to-play game where you have a huge audience there.
Yep.
A lot of times we see them open up the gates to that crossplay. But for package, like a download version of a game.
So what I'm hearing is that crossplay has like the barriers and everything, but if you like the free-to-play games are naturally going to have a much higher user base than games like this that you have to pay and you have to buy here. So I think it costs money, right? It might be expensive for the first-party people to have that cross-play server right here, or allow it from the other games. So yeah, it's not like you mentioned earlier. It's not a technical issue so much. It's more like the first-party.
I think this one's more important. What he's talking about now is. Each platform has their own ID, the PSN ID, the XLive ID.
There's another one too.
And to connect them, there's a lot of things that you have to do. I can't believe he's going into this much detail, but he's talking about you have a central server where you've got to take, like if I'm on PSN and you're on XLive, we have to go to some server outside, and they give us an ID that isn't matched. Well, it's not tied to either of those platforms, and you kind of tie the XLive ID to that ID and my PSN to that ID. And so, like the server infrastructure and the security protocols and stuff like that.
Yeah, he keeps kind of saying like we can do it. Like I think the underlying message like we can do it. It's the first party. It's the consoles, the platform companies here. They have the difficulties that kind of prevent this.
So he's talking about maybe the next gen? At least from the player's perspective, that everyone's going to think, well, obviously you can do it, right?
Yeah, like other games do it, why can't we do it?
So he realized the expectation is going to be quite high.
Yeah, right. So this is not just, even though it's Harada talking about Tekken, this is not just a Tekken issue, right? A lot of games are like this. A lot of fighting games, a lot of the other companies have the same problems.
So he's saying he's going to try to approach the first parties a bit more on this topic.
Yeah, so earlier on when he gave that long speech where he basically was saying he already tried like the presentation, he went to everybody, everyone sounded like, yeah, let's do it, but nothing actually happened, and then
there's a lot of details to actually figure out when you
So he says he's going to keep going. Crossplay is still an important idea here for Harada. So he's going to keep going. Matsumoto-san from Capcom now.
Talking about his thoughts on it.
He says he also thinks it's
pretty,
very important.
Pretty important, yeah.
ユーザーが分かれることに我々メリットないと思うんで、絶対に実現していく方がいいんですけども、気になってくるのはこの
And Ishiwatari-san also saying, obviously, from the publisher's standpoint, it's not the best to have our audiences split.
Yeah, they definitely want crossplay because that keeps all the users together. But what he mentioned is that there's
devices?
Technical, right? Technical, you know, like a Switch versus a PlayStation 4. They have different technical aspects. So how are you going to have a game? What are you going to do to make the game playable across each platform there?
And so, but even the peripherals, like maybe on certain platforms you don't have as many arcade sticks, etc. So there's a lot of things to actually work out.
Yeah. That's a good point. Like, if you're going to do a crossplay game, do you design the game for one system and then just try and add it on, or from the start, do you design a game that's going to be, you know, equal and easy to play across all platforms there?
And even Pachi is talking about, because of the way you input on each device, they would have to take that into account. The way that the game might feel different, I mean, among platforms, and you know, if that's something that is probably not desirable in a fighting game, right?
Yeah. Pachi, like they're all saying, like Daisuke and Pachi both said, yeah, this is something we definitely want to do. Everybody, of course, we want crossplay, but it's not that simple, right? It's not.
So you can tell here that
simple.
you know there's a lot of thought being put into it. It's not that they just like whatever, we don't want to do it.
Yeah. There's still a lot of little hurdles here to get good crossplay.
So you're just saying, like FPSs, you have many different input configurations, I guess you'd say, right? And maybe that's kind of one way to work around for some of these problems, to provide more of those for fighting games. But then, you know, figuring out those fine details is something that takes a lot of time as well.
But yeah, right when it looks like he's going to get cut off with time. But Pachi, again, he said this is definitely something we want to do. Just, again, there's still a lot of hurdles, so don't expect it anytime soon, guys. But the devs are thinking about cross-play stuff.
And yes, it is. Just talking about that leads in quite well to the next one.
Yeah, because he was just
mentioning
about
arcade controllers, right?
About arcade controllers. What is this going to be about?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as well.
Arcade controls, good or bad? Is the story?
I mean, I think they mean like arcade sticks, right? Like fight sticks. So this is Oda-san.
Okay. I guess this is very,
This is one of the kind of legacy things of fighting games, is this culture of fight sticks, right?
Yeah. So he's saying too that he, you know, because some of the old SNK games came very, very difficult, you know, very high execution. Back in the day, it used to be like you have to use an arcade stick. But he's talking about that's kind of like a legacy thought, the culture of arcade sticks. So.
But I think what he's trying to convey though is he sees it as something that he would like to kind of convey to later generations, right? To kind of preserve that arcade culture, right?
It's definitely phasing out a bit.
And he's talking about
So they're
talking about, you know, we got to do driver updates and all that on our side to make sure they all work. But then even he's mentioning a decline in manufacturers.
Yeah, manufacturers are going down as well. And he said we're entering that area. So he's saying we're entering the era where, I mean, we've already been in an era, I think. But, you know, he wants to tell you something. But he's like, we're entering the era with, you know, maybe arcade controllers are slowly getting phased out. Now Harada says, Nishitani, say something. All right, Nishitani, go ahead.
He's like, yeah, I got this. He's got to print out for everyone, huh?
He's good.
Nishitani-san is just saying he has to have arcade controller. Because, you know, he kind of grew up in the arcades. But he's saying that newer generations, they're starting off on controllers or gamepads, right? And fighting games have pretty complex commands, but these newer generations are able to do it quite well on a gamepad.
Right, he said because he's OG. That's a very common like mindset from back in the day. It was like you can only do these complex inputs on the arcade pad, but he's surprised, right? He's like the new guys, they're doing it just fine on pad.
He's saying like all the guys here, you know, close to 40 or over, so they all probably use arcade controllers, but you know, most of the player base is shifting towards gamepads now, and they seem to be doing quite well. So maybe it's not going to be a big problem. He feels that maybe half is on gamepads at the moment.
He said when you got to tournament, you see everyone using arcade sticks. You might have that idea, but he said he feels like half people are on pads, and then Harada said more than half, right?
Right. I've even noticed that with Tekken. You know, people when we were having arcade-only tournaments, some people couldn't actually join, especially a lot of the foreign players, because they could only play on pad, right?
That happened a lot for the Japanese invitational tournaments, right? You'd qualify in the States, but the guy qualified can only play on pad, and then it's like, well, now what do we do?
I think we even provided like a USB ports on a special version of the arcade cabinet for one or two of them. Now he's just asking about Arc. He feels that their player base is probably a higher percentage of arcade controllers, maybe. And then we got Daisuke-san here.
Yeah,
he's saying he's part of that generation of arcade.
He said, I'm not as old as Nishitani, but he's from the arcade stick generation. Yeah.
And he's like, especially repeat inputs of a button.
Yeah, because they're talking about, you know, arcades have the double tap. That's very famous, that you couldn't do in old games. Or that was kind of necessary in old games. But new games, you don't really need it that much.
Now he's saying that the newer generations, or especially in the team even, are saying maybe we should come up with new specs that kind of make more use of the gamepads and stuff like that. And then he's talking about, I think that kind of like the rapid button presses and things like
execution,
that. It makes you feel more immersed in the game physically.
You get more energetic, right? You feel like, I'm really going in here.
Right. That's a good point. And Pachi says he often conflicts with Daisuke-san on that one. He likes actually complex inputs.
He likes the difficult inputs.
So that's a merit of the arcade controllers. But he wants to have a battle system that doesn't, you know, skew towards either
you don't need a pad, you don't need a stick. They want to make a game that you don't even think about it. We're shifting towards the esports era. So your pad or your controller is similar to like your tool if you're an athlete, right? Like a bat or your racket or whatever.
I think that's kind of interesting about the possibilities that might come of that. He's talking like maybe even you should have different formats.
I
like
disagree with that.
One allows like, you know, anything with your tool, but we know all about this, right? The sentiment.
He was talking about, you know, maybe it'd be cool to have different rules. Like you can even have like modded arcade sticks. Like you have modded arcade sticks. If you press this one button, like, it'll do like a very complex command. Like have a tournament just that allows that. Have a different tournament that doesn't.
Oh, he brought up Mori-san here.
Like,
he said he only plays on pad, right?
He's like, I don't have an image. He plays on pad, right? He doesn't, right? And they mentioned, his arcade stick.
He said he's dropped it. He's seen Mori-san drop the arcade stick from his lap several times.
Playing on his lap, he dropped it. Maybe he's not a pro. How come Mori-san's not here?
I'm glad he was able to participate in some way, though. Mori-san's a super cool dude.
まあ結構その一緒当たりだったり自分だったり森だったりとまあとかはうちのスタッフだったので、まあ今回はこういう形で。
Harada's a troll, man. Zooming in here.
圧がすごいですね。
He's trying to have a serious discussion, and Harada's like trolling him heavy.
You see Pudge just trying not to look at the screen, or he doesn't make eye contact with his boss there.
Reminds me of that Japanese TV program where you can't laugh, and if you do, they kick you in the behind, right?
Yatsuda is asking Harada, like, how many photos do you have? Like, how many photos do you have ready to go, Harada?
He said he doesn't have everyone. But in case the SNK connection fails, he's got this as a backup.
Yesterday during rehearsal, there was a joke where they were using Wi-Fi. Like, some of the guys were using Wi-Fi, so Harada yelled at everybody. He's like, you guys are supposed to be fighting
should be
games.
ashamed of yourself.
Why are you going to be using Wi-Fi? What's wrong with you guys? So he's like, yeah, SNK, in case their Wi-Fi goes down again, we have this.
So now
Alright,
we're going on to the
gonna go
next one.
question.
次がですね、
Is this everybody wants?
格ゲーの将来的なユーザー体験。
Okay.
Feature user experience of fighting games.
はい。格ゲーの将来的なユーザー。
What does this mean, though? It's a hard question.
ちょっとはい。
Let's see.
It's pretty open-ended,
Yeah,
right?
right.
でまあ非常に結構こうロジカルな部分が。
So this is again Daisuke-san, I believe, right?
Oh, there he is. Yeah, sorry. I was looking. I was like, who's talking?
ああいうのってこう長いことルール変更が行われないのに対して格闘ゲームっていうのはこう日々
So he's talking about other game genres, maybe the rules don't change that much, but fighting games change their game systems quite often. Users expect this to occur, you know, every 3 years, maybe every 5 at the most. So what are some new possibilities? Maybe like how does AI maybe affect it? Maybe there's some kind of interesting possibilities there.
He said also, like, up until now, we just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again for fighting game. So he thinks rather than Ishitari coming up with ideas for the future by himself, it's like, this is the value of this kind of group discussion.
Right?
So let's have everybody. What do you think we can do in the future?
But it's kind of like poker, right? It's like, do you really want to give away?
What do you want to tell me? Tell me your idea. Ono-san. Ono-san is here as well.
Where's the Blanca though? Oh, he is the Blanca.
Yeah, he's got him.
And this is Mochie-san gonna give us his opinion. He believes matching, of course, right? A better experience there. But he's not from a development background. Saying that's kind of important
Matching
element
is what
that
the
you have
online.
to
He's talking about
get
online
right.
matchmaking.
Yeah. And if that experience isn't tight, then you'll lose your player base over time. So he believes everyone is trying their best to try to improve that aspect, especially. Currently, you know, we have rank is one way that we divide the players based on their skill, whether that's a certain rank or whether it's a point attribute. But you know, which one is best? That's kind of something open for discussion, right?
So yeah, do you want to cut? You want to cut people up by ranks or by experience, like point system? So the point system, you can just kind of grind, right? You don't have to be that good. You can just kind of grind and go up here. They keep mentioning AI though. Is this what they're talking about? CPU? Could this be something?
Well, I think the concept is something we come up with as well. That
how to decide.
A perfect AI character is going to be the most fun experience, probably, if you don't know it's AI, because it would be perfectly at your level where you know you feel like you're growing, having a good time. So I think Harada's kind of touched on that. I think he's talking on the point and the rank. No, he is talking about AI. He said he's talked to IBM people before about this AI and maybe improvement on player experience as a result.
So taking all the different data, feeding the AI program, and
the IBM guy said, you know, if you have enough data points, maybe that opens up the possibilities even more for something. But the need for real-time data
and everything,
and to compute it is kind of, you know, online is one of the big hurdles in doing that, because you have to get the data from both sides. The CPU or whatever you're using has to compute all that and then output it in real time, right?
どれぐらいの初心者レベルになるのかみたいなところとかは結構測りかねるみたいな話もやっぱ出てる。
And that's something it's kind of hard to see how to actually implement it at this point, currently.
Yeah, he mentioned the person he talked to said there's not a lot of companies out that are working on this right now. So right now it's difficult, but he's like in the future this could be something that comes out.
Who we got now?
Shimburi now.
Shimburi-san, right? Oh, and they say no, maybe Mochie-san was talking more about how to more effectively match people using AI.
Yeah.
That's kind of an interesting idea, yeah.
ランクマッチとか始めたばっかりの人とかにはなんかこう人間っぽい AI が現れてなんかこううまい感じに勝たせてくれるとかみたいな。
And it's just, kind of what I touched on, that if you had an AI opponent that maybe you don't know it's AI,
If you're
for someone
brand
who
new
just
player,
started
yeah.
out,
If you're
and they
a
just
brand new
barely
player,
let you
yeah.
in, and you kind of feel good about your experience.
I mean, other games too. You fight bots and stuff. And
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, you fight a bot.
If someone
when you're
drops
low
out,
level,
like,
yeah, a bot
partway
will
or
come
something
in,
like
yeah.
that, or
I mean,
not enough players.
Every FPS games have it, MOBAs have it. Fighting games don't have that yet. But yeah, developing that would be hard. Because right now, still, in fighting game CPU is still doesn't really feel too.
It's not
doesn't feel like fighting
a perfect
person.
replacement
Yeah.
for a person, yeah.
あれは一つの正解だとは思うんです。格闘ゲームで。
そうなるとやっぱ AI がちゃんと人間っぽく動かない。
So now he's saying that it has to feel really human.
Yeah, that's
for
what
the
I
routines
just
of the
mentioned,
AI,
right? When you fight a computer now, it feels like they're just doing random things, right? They're just doing random moves and stuff.
2008年ぐらいにPC でね、中国でオンラインゲーム作った時に、
2008年, he said, I think?
Yeah, he said 2008 he made an online game in China, and
まあ結構バレちゃってて。
Oh, but the player base soon realized it was
That was
AI and
AI,
not
yeah,
an
yeah.
opponent.
表示ちょっとだけ。
I mean that was a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
そうじゃないぞっていうのが意見すごく多かった。
But
やっ
the
ぱりプライド高いですよね。
the feedback from the players wasn't that great on that. Because people really wanted to defeat real
Yeah,
human,
you want
right?
to feel
Not an
like you
AI.
beat a person, right? You feel like you want to. So, are these guys? They're coming out and saying that they're going to lie to the player base. Is this what they're coming out and saying? That in the future you're not going to know if you're fighting? It sounds like
Could be,
like
but
some
I guess it depends
cyberpunk future.
on how you enjoy the game, right? If it has to be a human opponent, or if you just want a really exciting match, I guess it depends on your player expectation, right? In my personal opinion.
But
Not what they're saying at the moment.
what they are saying overall, though, is a really important point. Is if you go back to, it's not just about AI and stuff, but it's about always having an opponent to fight, right? That's the issue. Is that right now, if you're a new player, you might go on. There's no one for you to fight because everyone's either they've moved on or they're too high level for you. So that's what this is coming out.
I think Okubo's just going back to the matching again, right?
Yeah.
Saying it's quite different depending on what platform you're on. And then he's touching on AI now. They're saying that debugging.
He's like, if they can keep making kind of advancements and progressions around like the fighting game debugging area, then he's like, maybe having a good AI computer in the future could definitely be something.
It's kind of hard to get the point of what he's saying, but I think he's saying maybe, I don't know if it's debugging to like take out bugs, but more, I think he's trying to say tuning, perhaps?
Yeah, like tuning the AI and just trying to make it so it feels that, even if it's the strongest character and you beat him really easy, it's like that doesn't feel good. Like it's about keeping that level that's close, that like it's supposed to be a competitive match.
Harada is saying we have some people on our team that you might think they're AI the way they play.
They always do the same combo, the same punish, the same everything.
Yeah,
It's like,
dude. There's this dude STZ I play often, and I feel that way sometimes.
I mean, Tekken is like that, right? That game is there's a lot of like, if you play perfectly, it's like every time you block this, you're gonna do that punish, right? It's a very calculated game.
Yeah, you have some players that try to optimize it heavily, but some people just throw away like a 14 frame or whatever, right? They'll just be like, I'm going to do only a 10 and 12 and a 15 or whatever. Yasuda now? I wonder what he's got to say.
攻撃しなくなっちゃうらしいんですよね。
あ、そうです。
もう
He's like, they.
来たものに対して反応するっていうのは最適解になっていく
Okay. What he's saying is kind of something I felt in real martial arts. He's saying like, if the higher up you get, you just don't do
You can't
attacks
do anything.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
You wait for your opponent and then you punish them or whatever, which is kind of like what real martial arts are. You leave yourself open if you do an attack. So
because the computer's just going to be able, if you attack, the computer's going to be able to punish you every time. So he's like, at the high level, you end up just standing there and just waiting for them to jump an anti or something like
But
that.
if you play fighting games, I think everyone's experienced this at one point, where you have that opponent who doesn't come at you, right? They turtle.
That's the human aspect, right? Is like you have to put in that surprise or something. You have to do that random jump or something. But if you fight against an AI that doesn't get surprised, it's not going to work like that.
基本的にだからもう近距離密着はもう投げばっかり入れて攻撃全部ガードにしといたら勝てちゃうっていうのは勝てちゃうんですよね。
So they're talking about how making, if they design an AI that every time you get close, they're going to grab you and they're going to block every attack, like they can just beat anybody, right? They can make a, like if you look at like the old broken boss characters that are like perfect.
I think Harada was kind of picking on Oda-san about the SNK boss
The old
AI,
ones,
right?
yeah.
He's
So
mentioned
like,
something about the Genocide Cutter, right? Which is Rugal, I believe, right?
Genocide Cutter right there. But SNK is known for that, right? The famous old bosses that are like perfect, right?
Brutal,
they read every
right?
one of your inputs, right? They just murder you. So Oda-san saying, yeah, if we want to program that, we can. But that's not what they want. They want to make something that feels human.
Yeah.
I like what Okubo's saying here. So he says even without AI, though, there's still a lot of improvements we can make to the online matchmaking system, right?
まあちょっとシビアな話になりますけど、そのランニングコストっていうか。
So Okubo's, sorry, Oda-san's being more realistic. He's saying, there is a lot of optimal stuff you could do, but from business, when they're doing it, you have to kind of keep in cost to actually implement these things, and it's kind of a balance that you do have to take into effect if you're in their position, right? And then Harada's like, yeah, we should just like team up and
Let's go.
kind of try to share on some of the stuff, right?
Capcom, why don't you give me some stuff?
So he's saying we could even like share some of our data on what we've learned about different ranks and player base and stuff.
I've known, like I've done work with Arika, and I remember just talking to those guys. They're like, Harada goes out. They said Mori-san as well. They're very, very kind of proactive for developers, like talking with other companies, sharing and stuff. It's like he's not a very like secretive or protective guy. He's all about raising everybody up.
He's one of the only ones that can do it for many reasons, and he's the exception, not in the rule.
So anyway, next question here. So this is a very hot topic, at least in the West right now.
Yeah.
But fighting games getting simplified and how to stop that or make it so that it's acceptable.
Who we got now?
Shimbori-san.
So he's saying that obviously we all have to gain the new player base each new installment. That's one of the things that the company expects of us producers, right?
Yeah. So it's like when you make a new game, if you like whatever Dead or Alive 4, and then you're going to put out 5, it's like you need to get new people with 5, but then the people you have in 4, you need to keep them happy as well. So that's why there's always this kind of...
And he's saying, like, how do you guys tackle that? And everyone's, like, quiet now. It's like, that's one of the hardest parts of our job, right?
Right? You can't just keep making the game for the same group of players, right? You need to... That's where the simplification comes from. So let's see. Nobody wants to give an answer.
Well, he just threw it to Ishiwatari-san, and Harada's like, you gave it to the most complex fighting game system, right?
あえてみたいなこう結婚前提で、その辺ちょっと確かに聞いててさっき聞いてて知りたいなと思いましたね。
Goba-san's just saying he would like to know as well.
Yeah, I want to hear because he was talking about how Daisuke uses the arcade stick and his games are difficult. But Strive is coming out, right? Strive is a huge change.
So Ishiwatari-san's just saying there's a difference between simple and easy, and they're not necessarily the same.
Yeah.
He's saying that obviously we want to make it easy to understand as the main objective, right? So whether that means, though, cutting out game systems and things might not necessarily be one and the same, right?
They're gonna find out, right? Right. So he says they're still trying to figure out. So that's what the new game Strive is going to be. They're changing things. So he's going to find out if maybe cutting buttons out, cutting execution out, will this make it easier to understand the game, or is it some other things that are important here?
奥を表現するためのそのシステムとしては当然やはり一元さんが分かりづらいような
So you're just saying that
システムというのをどうしても要求されて
you need a system that allows for player growth according to how much you practice, etc. But then it has to be kind of easy to understand for new players that come in. So it doesn't mean it's easy, right? It means that it's easy to understand what you need to do, right?
Not just gameplay too. It's just like the looking and being able to understand, like just all the menus and UI and everything.
But then if you can see, if new players can see what the game system's about and it's easy to understand, but at the same time it looks something like something that's awesome that you want to do yourself, then it doesn't really matter if it means cutting systems down or not. Maybe you don't need to do that.
Maybe you don't need
You're
it.
just
If
saying
it's
that's
fun,
not
if it's good.
the goal, that's just one method to try to achieve that, right?
そうそう、その分、
Cool.
視認性が高くなっいろいろ状況の視認性が高くなったりとか、あとそのクールダウンシステムで
They're talking about, even though this is Koei Tecmo, they're asking about Grand Blue, I think.
付け方を難しくしたりっていうところで奥行き出してるのかなと思ったりはしたんですけど、その辺
Just trying to say that Shinsei means like visibility and to be able to understand what's going on at a glance, right? So trying to attain that, but at the same time have some kind of depth
He was
via the
asking
game
Pachi,
systems, right?
So Pachi can talk about Grand Blue now, because Grand Blue has like the cooldown system. It's simple, it's easy to understand, but
adds depth to it apparently. Yeah. He's saying he doesn't want to decrease, the inputs that make fighting games cool.
Yeah. So Grand Blue, you can do both. You can do the command input, or you can do the easy input.
So he's just saying if you could try to take both of those and
rather
maybe
than
somehow combine them into a cohesive system, right?
何ターンしばらくそのクールダウンがかかるっていうか、まあそれをまず再現するのにもいい塩梅だなとは思うし、ただ
I'll let you handle this one because you're more Grand Blue dude.
難しい問題って
Again, it's talking about simplification here. So he said, like you said, what happened if we get both? Rather than simplifying, let's just keep both options in there. So
try to find a balance between the
言
two.
われることもまあまあ多々あるんですね。っていうのがまああって 3D は結構その辺は緩和されてるところも多いとは思うんですけど 3D は結構その色が強い部分だったんで
So I think he was talking about the little
2D,
mistake
3D,
here.
right?
Yeah, 2D, 3D, but talking the problem in fighting games about inputting your command and then not getting it out. I think in 3D games it's a little bit different, but in like a 2D game, like if you input a dragon punch and you don't get it, you just get a little jab kind of thing. So he was thinking that, that's part of the difficulty of a 2D fighting game is being able to put out those key moves in the key situations. So what was the point? What was the point of having a simple input in there? So he's saying, we're going to have the cooldown system so you can put it out whenever you want, but you have to choose the proper time.
Right.
Even though it's one button, the cooldown is heavier.
Has to be
so,
more intentional,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
The cooldown is heavier there.
Okay.
So that is the difference. If you don't know, in Grand Blue is like if you do the command input, your cooldown is a little bit shorter here, but the easier one is a bit longer.
だからといってそれは簡単ではないよっていうところではあるんですが、まあその辺のことを考えて作ってましたね。はい。
だから入り口のね壁を
So now we're just talk about
So
the entrance.
Yeah, the getting into the game, right? So if you pick up a 2D fighting game, is that the first gap of doing all the inputs and everything. So Harada's saying
It's a
by
big
having
step
the
there, right?
yeah, by putting in the simple inputs in Grand Blue,
Kinda
you can just
lowers
get
the
in,
barrier.
right? You can get in, and then the ceiling might be high, but the entrance is really wide open.
めちゃめちゃ結構上手い人はめちゃめちゃ上手くなっちゃってるから今から初心者の人が入ってもなんか
So yeah, there's already so many people that have been playing fighting games for so long that there's so many godlike, really strong players that how can a brand new player just jump in right away?
I think he's saying that, right, that it's not just the input, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that
Skill levels
you
and
can't
stuff.
overcome
Yeah.
against a more experienced player.
ね高く感じちゃうみたいなところの方が大きかったりするので難しいんですよねこの問題って操作
This
But
is
again, this
quite
is
different, difficult.
This is not like an easy answer, right? There's no clear do we simplify the game? Will it get more people in there, or like how can we actually? I guess this is
I
the
think he's
same as
saying
before.
how do you get new player groups with experienced groups to be able to play on the same field, right?
シューターのね知見が
Which is difficult because part of the draw to practice in the games is to have that thing that you can keep with you, that you know you're good at fighting games. I'm trying to think in English. It's not coming out like it does in Japanese.
Yeah. Harada says, like, if something is simple, it doesn't mean that it's going to be good for it. Just because it's simple doesn't mean that new players are going to be able to play and do something like that.
Right, because you could do the commands, but you won't know
how to play.
The best timing against someone who's better than you, right?
He gave an example of like fighting or FPS games that even if you're a brand new player, all you do is you just got to shoot somebody, right? So you know what to do. Even if someone's better than you, you can still get, if you get like a sneak attack on them, you can always shoot them. But in a fighting game, is not like that.
0. いくつとかいわゆるその一撃か二撃で死ぬような冗談みたいなモードにすると、まあ誰でも。
But if we did that on fighting games, it could be simple. You could have like a 1 or 2 hit kill, right? But is that a good idea? But the idea is to try to
move them down,
design
like,
a gradual,
it's
you
fun
know,
at all
staircase.
levels, yeah, right. You start here and then you keep going and keep going and keep going.
So that you get like really involved in the game, invested, I guess you'd say. So Yes is cutting them off to go to the next topic because
this question is like a 3-hour discussion, right?
Oh, this stuff isn't something you can do in like 5 to 10 minutes, right?
So what was that? Only 4? So I
we had
don't
3,
think
maybe.
was it 3? I think it was 4, but that's it for the discussion corner, guys.
Oh, we ran out of time?
Yeah, I told you. We ran out of time.
Wonder what the ones we missed were.
I don't know, but hopefully they'll do it again. Hopefully they'll talk more too, right? It's like 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yeah.
It's kind of short. But we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, I believe these guys are. I think Pachi-san and Daisuke, they said are going to swap out. They're going to bring in someone else, Ozawa-san, I think.
Yeah, Ozawa-san, I believe, right?
Now, I know there's a lot of people watching that are only here for the announcements. Well, it's going to start
soon.
From now, yeah.
Soon.
So hang in there.
So I think they're.
Okay.
So he's got Patch is talking about his Grand Blue Fantasy stream they're gonna have
next Saturday.
Next Saturday, is it? And they might have something to talk about.
So if you're here for Grand Blue news, I don't think it's coming today.
Week, right?
I think it's going to be next week. So he's not giving any answers. He's just saying next week. Just tune in next week.
I know some people might think that way. Maybe we'll see. Maybe that's something to talk about next week.
What is that?
Who knows?
The 8th. So next week, August 8th.
Is it 8th? Did you say? Okay.
August 8th. So next Saturday, 1 week from today.
Is Nishitani-san also taken off as well?
No, I think he's
I didn't catch it.
So Daisuke is leaving as well, but he's saying, make sure you stick around to the end. Make sure you watch to the end. And I'm telling you to, make sure you watch to the end. And watch on Twitter as well.
Watch on Twitter?
Right, so guys, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. We'll be back.
This is what it means to be a warrior.
PlayStation PlayStation
Okay, so welcome back, guys. Thank you for sticking around after the break. So this is going to be the second part of the roundtable, except discussions are, we had a nice little 50 minutes of discussion now. The second out is going to be about some announcements, news, upcoming events like this. I know looking on Twitter, this is what a lot of people are here for, right?
The part you guys are waiting for, right?
So here we see Ozawa. Ozawa appears taking place of Arc System.
Yeah, Ozawa-san up there, second from the left, right? Oh, cool. He's got a little doll. Is that Mori-san?
It looks
a Mori
like
doll?
he's got the glasses and the leather jacket.
That's
so I
cool,
think it is
man.
Mori.
I want a Mori doll.
So they're making a little joke. They're not calling them announcements. They're calling them souvenirs, right? Did you bring a souvenir to the show?
Presents,
Yeah,
right.
did you bring anything for people? So they're gonna go one by one, and each developer's gonna say if they have something or not.
Alright, so just so you
They're
guys
fighting.
maybe who are just tuning in now, we got Wada-san, producer on Sam's show, also KOF, I believe. The director, Kuroki-san. Uzawa-san just joining from Arc System Works. The legend himself, Nishitani-san from Arika. Mochie from Koei Tecmo Games, along with Shibori-san. You guys are probably pretty familiar with him. Nakayama-san and Matsumoto-san are two that we don't really see from that much from Capcom, but they're the producer and the director on the Street Fighter series. From our side, we got Yasuda Esports, who does all the esports stuff in Japan here, and obviously Harada and Okubo, the two. I don't know what you call it. He's the chief producer on the whole Tekken franchise. I'm the day-to-day producer. Okubo is producer on Soul Calibur 6. So that's what we got today.
Asked who can go first, so they were fighting over who gets to give the first announcement, and it looks like Koei Tecmo won.
Well, yeah, it's like we're doing presentation in school, and you don't want to be first or last, right? You gotta be in that good spot,
Get in it.
So now Shimbori-san's gonna go first, I believe.
Yeah, Shimbori's speaking now, right?
そうなんですよ。ちょっと重たい話なんですけども。
Okay. But yeah, first of all, they thanked everybody, right? Thank you, everybody, right now.
違うことやってたりとかするんですけども、実質はプレイヤーがね増え続けてるんですよ。
They're saying that the player base is expanding.
Yeah, it's still growing, even during this year.
実は盛り上がってる。盛り上がってる。
They're saying that it's doing quite well.
They're like, why are you talking
They
like
look
that?
surprised,
though?
yeah.
Like, why is he's saying good news? It's like, why? I was like, why are you talking like that? Come on, man. So he's
saying
like,
it hasn't brought anything huge today, but but they already have like a kind of free-to-play version with DOA 6, right?
Yeah,
I think people already know this one. So this is saying 3 million downloads, right?
10,000, 100,000, 3
Yeah,
million.
3 million,
Yes.
3 million.
Dude, I've been here 10 years. I still can't do the numbers. 3
Dude,
million.
I've been doing so many budgets and stuff. I'm so used to the Japanese numbers.
So yeah, if you guys are interested in Dead or Alive, like they mentioned, cute girls, a lot of cute girls, you can give it a try for free right here.
So, I don't know what the terminology here. The Core Fighters version is on Xbox One and Steam, but then free-to-play is on PlayStation 4, it looks like.
Probably just naming thing, but I think it's the same exact thing. So he said, even though it's free-to-play, you can, you get a full training mode and everything. You can practice.
So you get the base game for free, and then you kind of
if you
buy
enjoy
the characters that
it,
you want to play, right?
You can buy skins too. He's like, you get like 4, you get to play with 4 characters at the start. But he's like, give it a try, and then you can just support us. If you don't want to buy the full game, but you want to support, you just some skins and things like that.
So he's saying that one of the merits, you can just download the game for free and purchase only the characters you're interested in, right?
The pro players always talk about like, oh, you need to have every character in training mode. But if you don't want to play training mode, you just want to go online with the character you like, just buy them.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like this is a
players
good
have
system.
their own goals that they want to achieve, so. So he's saying that they have a wide variety of different players, but they want to expand the base even more, so check it out.
Even more. So again, just thanking everyone. Please come out. He seems very not confident. I don't know.
And just thinking SNK.
Yeah, thank you. SNK has the collab characters and stuff. So here's our next slide.
So this is a summer sale going on, I believe, from the 5th through the 18th. I believe these are Japanese times as well, right?
It's like 4 days from now. Pretty big, right? 65% off there. Season Pass 1, 2. They have 4 season passes. 30% off, 20, 10, 10, 65, 65. So yeah, if you are, if you're already a Dead or Alive fan, you wanted to get it on a different platform or something, like now is the time right now. If you're not sure, get the free version first.
I think he's mentioned that Season Pass 1 is the one that includes Shiranui Mai and the SNK characters, right?
Right here. It looks like Season Pass 2
Harada
is
is
summer.
mentioning that Capcom doesn't get paid a cent when people play Golki in our game, or Akuma, but we let them use some what do you call it, patents.
Yeah.
Man, he's gonna say this stuff on stream, huh?
He's all out, huh?
Okay.
Dev secrets.
Just to our corporate office, I didn't say that. I'm just translating what Harada's saying. So on the bottom right,
Season Pass 4.
Season Pass 4.
ちょっと出すことにしました。で、ここに新キャラクター、最新のキャラクターの玉木っていうキャラクター。
So the latest character Tamaki is included.
Tamaki, yeah. I think that girl with the greenish hair.
She's quite popular, so he hopes to check her out.
あ、ちょっとすいません。ごめんなさい。はい。
What? We got he's got something
スライ
else.
ド消してもらっていいですか。
Can you get rid of this slide?
ちょっと今
What? He's gonna do a Harada thing?
見えるんかな。
He's like, I wonder if you can see this.
I
think that's Tamaki.
デッドライブ6アーケード版もやって。
He's talking about the arcade version in Japan, right?
Yeah, hold it up. Hold it up. Hold it up.
No idea, dude.
Oh no.
Oh, cool. The way that blur works is pretty interesting.
That
right?
definitely was not intentional.
Is this the new character, the Tamaki?
Tamaki, yeah, I believe so. And look down here, we got look at Harada.
I wonder who that is. That's the famous Itagaki-san, right?
Itagaki-san, the old Team Ninja guy.
Wow.
Him and Harada got some rivalry, right? Some smack
Well,
talk is going on.
they used to.
That was good.
Until Itagaki-san found out they were both from the same university.
Oh, really?
And Itagaki-san is a senpai, which totally changes the whole dynamic,
okay.
right?
Now Harada's got to apologize.
It's like, he used to be Harada-san, now it's like, oh, Harada. So.
5日からついに玉木デビューできそうです。
So it looks like soon Tamaki will be in the arcade. Should be added to the arcade soon.
So he's saying that, yeah. So the people who are waiting to see this character in the arcades, it should be soon.
Yeah. This definitely was not
Harada's
intentional.
like pulling this. What?
Yeah, so this is this is mainly a Japan discussion about the arcades. Arcades are closed for a good 2 months or so, but they're reopened now.
Yeah.
They're reopened now, so there are interesting.
Well, it depends
enough,
on where you are too, right? Like Tokyo or out in the countryside.
There are some people in Japan that are arcade only, believe it or not.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It's like
Master Cup is a sampling of that, right?
Arcade only. I don't play console, so that's our other boss.
今PS4 版とほぼ全く同じバージョンになるってことですよね。
そうですね。水曜日8月5日ぜひゲーセンに行ってみてください。
Yeah.
5日 is the 5th.
Yeah.
Go
So
to
from
the
Wednesday is when they're going to
arcades and
update.
they can do
Yeah.
it. Which applies to any of you guys in Japan, I suppose, right?
時間的に早く行き過ぎるともしかしたらまだ配信。
But if you go too early to the arcade, it might not be released yet.
Yeah, on Wednesday, right?
It takes time, dude. It's so
to get the
crazy
update,
now.
Upload everything. Yeah. But it will be Wednesday. But that's it for Koei Tecmo. So next is
Who? Who we got?
Harada. Alright, SNK is going. Now I saw on Twitter there was a lot of questions. A lot of people want SNK news. Let's see what they got today.
Well, everyone knows the question, right?
告知させていただけたらと思います。最初のフリップ。
So he's got something to share with you guys.
Okay, yeah. This is a character that was just announced, right? They just
Kosoni?
said, yeah.
That's the Japanese read. I don't know what it is in English, right?
新しいコラボキャラクター。
Collaboration character, this new for Sam Spirits, Sam Show, you call it in English, right?
Honor, I believe the game is called Honor of Kings.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Did he just said her name in the Chinese pronunciation, and everyone's laughing like, man, you sounded like a native Chinese speaker, man.
He's getting good at that.
I mean, if he had to go to Tensei, if he had to go out to China and do it, you have to get the pronunciation, everything going. But she's free. She's free. So if you guys, I'm sure if you're a Sam Show fan, you probably already are aware of this. But you can just download and play from the 6th there. The next slide.
Next slide, please.
Ta-da!
Season Pass 3.
Yeah, this is good.
Development is decided.
Decided. So
yeah.
it's right? So they've announced.
It's a go. It's a go. Yep. This is the first time they're announcing that,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep. So season 2 came out. You have all the characters, but they're still going. So Samurai Spirits is still going. Samurai Showdown in the West. So now it's time for you guys to go on Twitter and then spam them with whatever DLC character you want.
So just saying that they're not going to touch on the details today, but please look forward to info coming soon.
Yep.
されたと記憶してて、で8月の6日に先ほどのコウ・ソンリが新キャラとして出て、そしてシーズンパス3なんかすごい早いというか。
They're like,
and you're just talking about the pace of the development is quite fast. The new character being announced, and then now Season Pass 3.
June. So in June, the end of June, they put in Warden, the new character, and now you have the new Honor King's character, and now you have Season 3. So they're like, you guys are getting a lot of info.
Cranking it out, right?
だからかなりのペースであることは間違いないですよね。
Yeah, everyone's just really surprised at the pace of the development there, right?
だって SNK さんだけそれだって会社から放送してるわけじゃないですか。そうなんですよ。
Are we saying these two are actually streaming from SNK office?
Yeah, you see in the background.
On Saturday.
And
Harada and Okubo are both at home.
He's like, we're at home, man.
ネオジオ T シャツ着ろって言われて。
And they made them wear the Neo Geo T-shirts too, probably, right? He's saying your company's pretty tight-run ship,
they
huh?
call it a black company. That means like it's they overwork their employees, right? They overwork their employees. So it's like, man, you guys need to loosen up over there. Uh-oh.
So this is the MC asking a question, right? Sam Show.
Okay.
But there's another franchise that everyone
Don't do it.
Don't do it. What?
I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not saying anything until they say it.
Yeah. He's asking, is there anything you can touch on for that?
He's like, there's another game, there's another series.
Oda's looking for the sword under the desk, right? He's like, come to get this dude.
There's another series.
Uh-oh. And he's saying that not from an MC perspective, but from a fanboy.
Yeah, Fui is a fighting game player.
Yeah, I don't think this was on script either, right?
Yeah, so it was last year at EVO. 1 year ago is when they announced.
He said that thing is in development on the floor above me.
They still didn't say the name. I don't want to say the name if they're not going to say the name.
But they didn't have anything in time to show for this timing. But they have something they're considering soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Just didn't make it for this stream.
Whatever game that is, I have no idea what they were talking about. But
thank you very much for that.
Unfortunately, they couldn't show any new news today. But they said very soon, in a little bit, they want to show you.
Hey, Harada's now just asking for Geese permanently in Tekken.
Can I just add?
And Oda-san said, "Okay, I'll try to get a higher position in the company and try to make that happen." Yeah, I'll do anything I can to help. Oda-san's a super cool guy.
All right, next.
Next maker, publisher. Who we got? Capcom-san.
Okay.
We got Matsumoto-san here. Who is the producer, right? About Street Fighter 5. He wants to touch on some things.
So they just announced. I mean, they might talk about it here, but we'll see.
So next slide, please.
Okay.
Again, it's the 5th year of online operations.
This has been going on, right? So this sale is already on the summer
until
sale.
The 4th,
yeah,
right?
Until the 4th. So if you want it now, it's the time. 25% off. This is a champion edition too. So it comes. This is kind of like the complete version now.
With the stages and costumes.
Look, 40 characters, 200 costumes, 34 stages. 27. That's pretty good deal right there. So until the 4th, right? So please, if you guys are interested,
if you don't have it already, yeah. So this says a demo version, right?
I think this was announced before too, but from the 5th, they're gonna same thing we saw with Koei Tecmo. It's a free-to-play version right here. So a
Wow.
demo version with all 40 characters, right? That's kind of crazy. So he's like, if you're interested in Street Fighter but you've never tried it before, you can just try, you can touch the game, feel if you like it or not, for free, starting on the 5th.
Wow.
でこれはすみません。すごいなと思うんですけど。
Harada's like, this is crazy, but
なんか期間限定みたいな。
Yeah, see, I was wondering this.
Yeah.
Is there a end date to it?
なるほど。
What did he say?
どれぐらいの
he's like, there
There
is,
is.
but
大体。
About 2 weeks.
that's still really good.
Yeah.
2 weeks free to play Street Fighter 5 with the whole cast. That's crazy too. Even if you have the game already, but you know you didn't get the DLC, you want to try a character and see if you like them. Like now's a great time. You can get involved.
Yeah, dude. Or if you want a friend to pick it up, that's a really easy way for them to do that.
放送見てる人で先ほど冒頭でおっしゃられたストリートファイターってどんなゲームかなって思ってる人はいないと思います。
So Rada's just saying, well, I don't think there's anyone out there that's wondering what is Street Fighter, right?
What kind of game is Street Fighter? I don't know. It's only been around for what, 30 plus years or something.
火を吹いて腕が伸びるインドの。
He's like, there's a
Nakamura-san's explanation is the guy who
he's like,
breathes
there's a
fire
guy
and
with
has stretchy arms, right?
and breathes fire from India. He should give the game a try.
それはなかなかいないと思います。
Pretty cool. Wow. She said there might be someone like that somewhere.
Maybe
not Dawson,
in
but
the game,
you know that doesn't know about Street Fighter.
And there's another slide here.
で次は、e スポーツ関連の情報
It's about esports info.
来ました、ストリートファイター
So this is the this weekend. This is in what, Central America, Latin America. It's happening last week. They're saying, you know, Daigo won online. That was a huge thing. So this week they're doing it. They're going to
Central
stream
America,
it.
right?
Where's the stream? Right here. Yeah, they're going to stream it on Capcom Fighters JP channel. Again, this is for the Japanese audience. You guys watching right now, English stream, I believe, is just on Capcom Fighters there. But this weekend's another tournament.
So he's touching on this, and we saw it with Daigo, right?
Yep.
Is that if you win it, you get a place in the finals, right?
Yeah, different from the point system before. Now it's just winner qualifies.
And this is like, you know, I don't think there's a whole lot of the tournaments in Central America, right? So he's saying this is an excellent chance. And
They have a really strong scene out there. Yeah. See.
and he's touching on the players from Mexico, maybe, and Dominican Republic. Some people that maybe you don't see quite often that are quite strong. It's a good opportunity to check that out.
Yeah, so everyone, please watch.
This
please
feels
watch, please
weird,
watch.
me like being PR for Capcom, right?
Welcome to being a commentator.
But we're all in the same boat here, right? SFL.
Okay, and this is again this is mainly only for Japan, so sorry you guys overseas. But if you're a fan, you could still watch it on the Capcom Fighters JP channel. I don't know if it's going to have an English stream.
He's talking about a league, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows this one.
The Street Fighter League in Japan is really, really developed. They do all sorts of qualifications, all sorts of different tournaments right now. So this is a preseason open qualifier. So you like win the qualifier, so you didn't qualify for stage 2. There's like 5 or 6 stages. It's pretty wild. But there will be a stream happening next weekend. So again, if you want more,
Wow, they got
under
some
22.
interesting rules though. Yeah, under 22, it's open. And he was even mentioned that there's even some Japanese talent, I think, that take place. People who are known for playing the game.
That's been really big, especially for, I would say, Street Fighter out here, is that they get a lot of, talent, TV hosts, comedians, models playing the game and stuff like that.
And this is a 3-on-3 format, I think he was mentioned earlier, right?
Last one.
Next slide.
I think this is
Summer update.
So this is I know a lot of people were expecting
Today,
I saw on
right?
Twitter they wanted announcements and things, but Capcom has its own show,
Event.
its own announcement show where they're going to give reveals. They already said they're going to show new characters, the new season. So that's going to be next week. They actually have a Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's going to be the host.
Kenny's doing that.
Kenny's hosting that. So again, sorry if you are a Street Fighter fan watching today, you have to wait one more week, just one more week, and this is going to be their official update there.
Now, obviously, this 2 a.m. is for Japan.
Yeah, it's going to be in
think.
prime time. It's prime time for the dudes out in the West there. But they're showing a lot. It says special guest, but it already got announced. It's Kenny.
I hope you're not like.
Hey, I was on Twitter. Unless Kenny deleted it, I don't know. It was on Twitter. I saw the tweet.
Oh, okay, there you go. Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
So Matsumoto-san said it.
Yeah, he's like, they already said it. Yeah.
You're saved.
Yeah. He's like, you didn't update.
You're not going to
like,
get canceled.
Harada's like, you didn't update the slide. What's going on? But Kenny, of course, big Street Fighter fan, so he's a player, so it's a good match there.
このやり取りするのに LINE のグループ作ったんですけど、シンボリさんのアイコンがケニーオメガと。
So he was Oko mentioned that we have a line group of all the publishers that we use to coordinate this. And Shinbori-san's icon was Kenny Omega. I didn't know that.
From Koei Tecmo.
Wow. Okay.
Where's Kenny? Kenny, you got to guess Captain Dead or Alive.
I wonder how that'll turn out. That'll be interesting.
It's a grab heavy game. But yeah, again, please don't get angry. Please don't go crazy. Just one more week. This has been planned for a while, so they can't just be like, all right, let's just show everything today. Yeah. It looks like they're gonna give a lot of details too, so you can look forward to that.
And you just mentioned to the Japanese people that they're gonna do an archive in case you can't tune at 2 a.m. So Harada's saying he's up, so no problem.
Street Fighter actually has been, when they do these reveals, they've been just showing everything. They've been like, the whole season, these are all the characters coming out. They usually give a lot of details at the same time, so if you're a Street Fighter fan, Street Fighter player, this should be very exciting next week.
I'm glad, man. The more fighting games they're doing well, the best for the scene. So.
Yeah, without a doubt,
He's saying that you sure it's not going to leak, as stuff often does?
It's happened a lot.
Harada with his trolling comments again. Well, we're pretty close with Ono-san, and we would often be in LA for a show or some kind of esports event where we're all on Twitter making sure nothing leaks. And Ono-san was always the first one to be like,
no. Yesterday. So we had rehearsal yesterday, guys, and they showed some of the reveals. So I haven't seen any leaks. The reveals you're gonna see are world first.
People don't see that, man. Me and Harada,
we're
like
hiding everything, right?
At home getting yelled at by our wives because we're looking at our phones, but it's not like we're just scrolling through stuff. It's like, please don't leak stuff.
Please don't leak. Please don't leak. All right. So yeah, Capcom fans, 1 week. Just hang in there, guys. You get all your information on the 6th.
Who's up next? We still have Arika-san and us.
Arxis, Bandai,
as well, right? Arika-san's next, probably, right? Nishitani-san, here we go.
So they've been doing kind of changing Fighting X Slayer. They've been making a beta, but they also are making a new game.
Fighting X Slayer he's touching on. 2 years from release. Towards the end, they haven't changed much.
Yeah, they didn't really update the game.
They're doing beta tests and online tests.
It's a big change too. If you guys haven't been following along, they've really kind of revamped the entire game engine. And PlayStation on Steam, you can kind of download and try it. So it's super fresh, right? If you played it on release and then you try this new beta, it's like a completely different game. So give it a try. Then they're also, I don't know if we can say, but they've been working on different...
What did he say he's going to do?
When this thing is over, they're going to show something new. But they've also been working on the online connectivity, is what I will say.
That's what he was touching on, right? He said that he thinks it feels pretty good.
Yeah,
so
they've been pushing rollback, right? So they've been sponsored by or inspired by the West. So they've really been pushing it in their game right there.
So, to be decided when, but Steam version, they're going to add a screen to allow you to select skins?
Yeah,
character skins?
This character skin and stuff, right? So this company, Arika, if you look at all these other companies here, they're all massive, right? They're all huge conglomerate. They have other games outside of that. Arika is very, very, very small. It's just a small group of creators and developers, so...
Very passionate, though.
Yeah.
いやスキンを選択できる枠があるよっていうのと あと Steam 版だけですって、まあ一応これだけ言っておきます。
So it's important that
Yeah.
you can select the skins, but it's a feature specific to the Steam version
So
at the moment.
he's hinting that there's, I think he's hinting that there's some stuff that are coming. So he's saying, all I'm going to say is this and this, and then like you kind of deduct make a conclusion on your own, right? Harada figured out, I didn't figure out. Maybe they're going to add more skins, I don't know, more guest characters, who knows?
実はですね、ちょっと
Because right now there's no
いろいろ
skins.
と細かい、まあ、ニュアンスのこととかもあると思いますので、その辺はまあ弊社三原がですねツイートしてたりとか、
He's talking about Mihara-san
Follow
often
Mihara-san.
tweets about the game.
補足しますんで、まあそちらの方も。
So if you want to know more info, that's the guy to follow.
Yeah. Mihara-san he tweets in English too a little bit as well.
プレイの実証実
He's saying that they're testing. Oh, he's talking about it, huh?
Yeah.
Cross-play, they've been testing out a bit.
Yeah, so
the team's not that big.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Arika is their team is very, very small. It's a very small company, but I think that gives them freedom to kind of try out more stuff. So, you know, they're trying to implement rollback. They're trying to implement crossplay in their games and stuff. They're trying to listen to the fans and put everything in.
PS4 版がセール中なんですよ。
And also, the PlayStation 4 version right now is 75% off, so it's on sale.
wow.
Yeah.
1222円です。めっちゃ安い。
So $1,200, about $10 or so.
Please buy it,
Yeah.
he said.
Support them out. Without this man right here, without Nishitani, there probably wouldn't be this conference right now, right?
4日までですね。
The creator of Street Fighter 2.
So it's going on until the 4th as well.
Yeah, so just three
A
days
lot
from now.
of fighting stuff going on, huh?
Summer
そうで
sale.
すね。ぜひその後デッドライブを。
And please buy Dead or Alive as well.
No, they did. So SNK has a collab character, and Terry Bogard is a collab character in there. So it's like, hey, let's get some collab characters with
そういうことですね。
Yeah,
with Dead or
Terry, man.
Alive.
Some of
Let's
my
put some of
favorites.
them in there.
ストリートファイター5の体験版も8月5日でしたよね、確か。
And then Capcom-san talking about the Street Fighter 5 demo as well until about that time. And we also have sales on our games going on as well, so please check those out if you haven't bought it yet. Both Soul Calibur and Tekken.
All right, I think maybe the Twitter monsters and the stream monsters, right? Be like, come on, you hyped up big announcements. Like, what's going on? I think.
Please wait. So now we have two left, right? Bandai Namco and Arc System Works. So they're saying Tori isn't a bird in this instance. It means like the last spot on a presentation. So we're going first, and Arc is going to go last. It's kind of prestigious. And
Harada's like, I know you got some good news.
One is saying like, actually our European office is the publisher for their game, for Strive. So with that in mind as well, you get the prestigious last place. And then he's like, oh man,
Like,
you're just raising the hurdle
I
there.
got a lot of expectations now, right? Harada just said that Arxis has big announcements, so we got a lot of expectations. So Bandai Namco first.
So we're going first. I believe Okubo's up first with Soul Calibur stuff. So we'll see what he has, which I already know, obviously.
宣伝という意味では、この
When the trailers talk, we just gotta be quiet. I don't wanna do reaction videos here.
So first off, he's mentioned, and you probably saw the footage during the interval, but PlayStation's doing their tournament feature for Soul Calibur as well.
Where'd Harada go?
And Sony made that footage.
なんかもうキャラハオマルしか映ってない。
It was only Harumaru. Pretty much.
そう戻すんですけど、いやきっと小田さんと黒木さんなら喜んでいただけるから。
So maybe Oda-san and Kuroki-san will be happy with that. We're very glad that you approved it so quickly. Thank you very much.
He's like, that's not even a Soul Calibur character. Like, come on, man.
ありがとうございました。はい、ということでですね、実際問題、ソルキャリバーの方は、まあ、今日座談会のテーマにちょっとならなかったんですけど、コロナの影響。
It wasn't one of the topics, but because of the COVID situation, the season pass development was obviously impacted. So with some hard things to mention, but and also, like for example, you know, when we develop our games, we have our battle team balance test it right, and you have to actually be in the same room for that kind of things. And
it's not just balancing too, like, you know, like betas and having players out there. You can't do that in this landscape. But they said finally they're going to be able to announce something.
Check it out. Here we go.
I closed my eyes, I was prepared to sleep for eternity. Hishiro Mitsurugi, you murdered my master. For that, I shall have your head.
Setsuka.
I did not teach you my techniques for revenge.
Even your eyes disgust me, daughter of savages.
Do not belittle yourself, no matter how others may see you. What you have inherited is Shugun Kokonoe's very soul!
How unfortunate! Flower petals shall line your grave! This is the work of fate. I merely played my part. I will strike you down and keep moving forward.
Oh. I know that guard.
It seems I must also draw steel.
There we go. So finally, got some big announcement there. I know those guys on social media are happy, right? 'Cause we were tagged in the tweet, and it was like every day, like 40 messages, like put in Setsuka, give me Setsuka, where's Setsuka? There, you got her, you got her. And not just that, they're getting an update, gameplay update, new stage, the Tekken
character,
the Tekken is
right?
awesome, man. That look really sick. And that's all free, right? And it's coming out.
I believe the Tekken costumes are part of the DLC. So there's two. There's DLC 11 and 12. 11 being the character and 12 being the customization items. So
the stage and the update, so the balance patch is coming out in what, 3 days?
Yep.
That's all going to be free, so you guys get the stage and everything. Let's see.
He's saying that a lot of people, you can destroy the costume, but some people don't like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the character creation in Soul Calibur is very, very detailed and very, very advanced. So they're going to add an option now that your clothes can't get.
I don't know if they're going to have it or not. He's just touching on it. Yeah, you're right. It is going to be in there. So
they're going to put in a option to protect your clothes from getting blown off, so you can keep your custom character there.
So you're saying it's coming on Tuesday. Setsuka come back first time in 10 years, right?
Yeah, 10 years, right?
The fan base been asking for her for a long time, and they asked so much. I thought about just not doing it despite them, but
I understand that feeling a lot. Maybe take notes, all you guys asking for X character, X character, X character. You can go overboard. It is possible to go overboard, right?
節田が登場になります。はい、こちらもですね、かなりやり込みに応えてくれるキャラクターではありますけれども、
It's a character that's got a lot of depth to it, right?
ちゃんと初めて触る方でもね、 ちゃんと操作ができるような感じの調整にして
Yeah,
But
okay.
we've also balanced it so that people who are more new to the game
Yeah,
can still enjoy her.
Not everyone played the game for 10 years, right? No one was back there in the original version.
セールしてますので、ソウルキャリバー
And then another
It's
sale.
on sale on
Everything's on
PS4.
sale.
すごく安くなってます。
Please buy the game.
8月4日まで
Until the 4th, right? So
Yep.
until the 4th is the sale, and then from the 4th is when the DLC is going to come out. So that's big news there if you are a Soul Calibur player, but Harada's gone.
He hasn't come back. What?
ないんじゃない鉄拳は。
Okuba saying maybe there's no announcements
He's
for
like, I guess there's
Tekken.
nothing. There's nothing to talk about Tekken, huh?
I'm gonna have to do it instead, right?
I mean, Okuba he used to work on Tekken 7, right? Before he moved to Soul Calibur. His name's in the credits for something.
Yeah. He was kind of like the producer on Japan side. Let's call Harada. Hey.
はい、
Oh,
皆さんご無沙汰
okay.
しております。鉄拳プロジェクトの原田です。皆さん、いかがお過ごしでしょうか。もう何かとテレワーク、リモートワークですか。テレコミュニケーティングと思いますけど、オルターファイストか。改めましてご無沙汰しております鉄拳プロジェクトの原田です。何かとね、このテレワークリモートワーク大変ですね。皆さんもこういうのには慣れましたでしょうか。今日はねあえてこんな感じで、撮影しておりますけども、いろいろ生活習慣変わる中で、我々鉄拳プロジェクトもですねいろいろもちろん、大変な思いはしておるんですけども、皆様にですね、できるだけもっと鉄拳を家で楽しんでいただこうといろいろアップデートをしたいなというふうにはもちろん思って頑張っております。ただですね、こんな状況ですので、なかなか持ってくる情報もほとんどというかこのビデオメッセージだけになっちゃうんですけども、ただこんな最中なんで、鉄拳プロジェクトも頑張っていろいろみんなやってるぞっていう現状報告をしようと思って、こういう形で配信させていただいております。はい、もう鉄拳もですねもうだから5年前のタイトルですよね。それでも、やっぱこの時代なのでできるだけですねオンライン機能を中心にしっかりもう再構築ですか、してできるだけ快適に遊べるようにアップデートしていきたいななんて思ってます。はい、というわけで、引き続き、鉄拳をよろしくお願いいたします。ありがとうございました。そんなことでは許されませんよね。はい、分かってます。ちょっと頑張りました。鉄拳プロジェクトもちろん今回も情報用意しております。というわけで死の号の言わずに見てもらいましょう。皆さん準備はいいですか。それでは VTR スタート。レディー
Keep your head up 元気を出して
何かと、はい、わかりました。はい。じゃあこれで撮影しようか。ね。はい。
Some people
cute little dog there. So there we go. Season 4 of Tekken 7 has been announced. So I didn't get to see that yesterday. That was my first time seeing that. So nice. I saw Paul's got a new move there. Another shoulder tackle here. We saw a little bit of a surprise there at the end. So you obviously know who that is. I have no idea who it is. Chat, you guys can try and guess there.
So Rutta's touching that it's 5 years from the release, but that's the arcade, right? 3 years for the release of the console version. We said 5 million recently. We're saying we're almost to 6.
Damn.
He's just gonna go out and say that, right?
He's bragging about numbers.
So
right?
much for our marketing plans, right?
He's
Jeez,
like, we're
come
about
on,
to get
dude.
6 million, man.
Saying 80% is download? Nah, it's more like 70.
Yeah, I usually download my games there.
時期でまたぐっと伸びているので、
我
々としては引き続きこうアップデート
So since the game is being supported, right? We still want to do it on our side as well.
As long as you guys keep buying the game and playing the game, supporting the game, they're going to keep building it up.
こういう形になっちゃったんで、なんか僕は二重に出るみたいな構成になってちょっと。
So Harada's it's kind of weird because he's like here, but then he's looking like he's on the stream.
Back in the video because he's got the same thing. Yeah.
But he's just going to touch on some of the points in case you missed it.
I want to see what the online experience, what he was talking about here.
He's talking about the Wi-Fi. So did you guys notice that, right?
Yes,
That's me. I told them to do this. I told them to do it.
Busted. You guys are busted now. You can't hide.
So for you guys to ask for that, there you go.
You can now. Can you filter those? The question.
So we're just saying that we did notice that it's 50% Wi-Fi players.
Users, yeah.
PC saying that what do you call it? The landline
you pretty much
is
PC
more
is going to
common
be
because
it's connected directly.
Yeah. This is something that people have been asking for a long time to be able to see that before you accept a match, right? So we added that. And he's talking about the online play. And because of just the current circumstances, people have been asking for improvement in the online experience.
Everyone's
right?
stuck at home, right? Yeah. Roll back.
He said it.
He said it.
Roll back.
He
said we already had rollback, but the variable frame adjust the rate. There's games that do it to 6, or Tekken was only set at 3 before.
Yeah.
So there's various ways to do it, right? So everyone says, well, you can just open up to 6. And you're fine. We're saying that for 3D, the way that the animations are created are so much different than 2D games. That the animation, when it rolls back, is a lot more visible. It's quite different than for 3D and 2D. And so the way you have the key buffers or the way you create the animation, a lot of the stuff you have to do is so much more intense than just, hey, do rollback and paste it in. But he's saying we've been doing some we did some betas like closed, or not closed, but what do you say, internally, and the results are pretty good at the moment. The response is improved. Also, the ranking is something that we're changing a bit.
Yeah, they mentioned it before when they were talking about matching and stuff, right? We saw the Tekken.
We should have been in the trailer. It said the Tekken prowess.
Yeah, your Tekken skill level.
And so that's going to be implemented as well, and the ranks is going to be a little bit different. They're going to be reset to a certain degree, not like totally to 0. So yeah, we do, because of the current circumstances, especially, are working hard to improve on that. So there's a lot of stuff that we're working on addition, but this kind of priority really got bumped up because of the whole COVID situation, right? So yeah, that stuff got brought forward. So he's saying that we really wanted to show more in depth, or we even wanted to actually have Season 4 ready already, but just the whole COVID situation and the impact on development. And that little character tease at the end.
Who could it be?
原田さん、カプコンさんのお二人ちょっと触れていただいてもいいですか？触れないとちょっと。
They got Harada cosplay on now.
What?
Harada didn't know.
No one noticed.
あれだよ、格ゲーの実況者の間では特に海外でみんなサングラス。
No, no,
And
no,
everyone
no,
does
no, no.
for commentators.
Harada said all the foreign commentators are wearing sunglasses. No, no, no,
松
no.
本さんと中山さん
No, no, pass on that.
サングラス自体はカプコンさんに強要されたものです。
But he said his sunglasses are something that Capcom asked us for. True story though. Capcom USA told him to do it because he's the bad guy. That was back during the Street Fighter Cross Tekken stuff.
You have to wear the sunglasses
Yeah,
because you're the bad
Uno-san
guy.
was like the good guy and Harada's the bad guy. But then everyone came to expect it, so he has to play along, right?
すみません、バンダムからもう一点、最後に、
One more from Yasuda from Bandai Namco
It's
about
gonna be from
esports.
Yasuda-san, right?
スライドお願いします。
So let's check out the slide.
Oh,
Online
nice.
challenge events coming soon.
はい、ですね、今年の鉄拳とあとソウルキャリバーのワールド
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man,
So
this hurts.
it was supposed to be
The TWT was supposed to be
New
going on.
Orleans, right? New
Soul
Orleans
Calibur
this
World
year.
Tour as well.
開催することになりました。
And we had to postpone all that stuff, right?
はい、で次のページを
But we know you guys are craving for content, so we're having an online event. And here's kind of the schedule, right?
It's worldwide, nice.
It's divided into regions, so it's going to be in different. So the dates line up with different areas, right?
Okay, yeah.
So Calibur has 3 of them. Tekken has a bit more, 10 in total.
Okay. Starting September 12th, so next
Running
month.
through December 6th, right?
Pretty soon here. This is like the usual kind of time schedule of each year.
はい、で、
So it's kind of like a 2-day format, right?
土曜日
On Saturday, we're going to have the open entry tournaments for that specific region, obviously, right? And then Sunday, you would have the exhibition matches with chosen players that people might want to see, right?
Are these tournaments leading up to anything, or is it each separate individual tournament?
At the moment, they're just separate entities, yeah.
はい、次のページを
If you need a Paul player, man, I'm down. Invite me out here. Tekken 7 pre-event.
You know how everyone loves Paul players.
They love
right?
him, man.
Before that, yeah, we had
US West.
August 15th through the 16th. This is a kind of a pre-event that we'd already kind of planned ahead of time, just to give you guys something cool to check out.
Makes sense. It's in California. Of course, we got to do everything California here.
Yeah.
So getting the little precursor there.
あのこれ
I wonder how restricted it's going to be on regions. Is there going to be like a minimum connection check or something like that?
Those are all things that they're kind of fleshing out now, and we'll be releasing more details on the homepage. I think that actually the rule set's going to be uploaded today. If you go check out Smash GG, you can see all the
It says
stuff.
it's live. So go ahead in there. Again, US West residents only, please. Obama ran a tournament in Japan and it said Japan only, and some guy was like, "Can I enter?" It's like, "What prefecture are you from?" It's like, "New York." I'm from New York. I don't know
like,
that one. I can't find that one on
My
the
heart
map.
is Japan, right?
From New York. Oh.
And then Yasuda just saying that Hiroki from Dragon Ball Fighters just gave him a slide.
Did he say Hirone? Did he call her Hirone?
Yeah, Hirone. Like, means like
big sis Hiroki.
Yeah.
はい、詳細こちらのサイトで、はい、
So for information on the events we were just talking about, go to these individual websites.
はい。で、
And next,
お願いします。
Dragon Ball Fighters, right?
Okay.
So you got a show, an announcement of announcement.
Announcement. I mean, sometimes that's what you got to do, right?
Yep.
Not everyone had expected to do it right now, and then you also mentioned, you know, the COVID situation.
Yep.
Time schedules are getting thrown out, so.
Well, the teams, they had their own separate plans moving. We tried to converge as many as we could, but they have this cool, spectacular show coming up. So I hope you guys will check it out.
Yeah, so August, it is August now, so this month, guys, all you Dragon Ball fans, and there's a lot of you guys that were asking for stuff on Twitter, but just hang in there a little bit longer. I know it hurts. I know when you wake up expecting that
Something
Christmas
big,
present
right?
under the tree is not there, but it's coming. It's on the way. So just hang in there, everybody.
So you're just talking about, we even approached Nintendo and some other companies, and everyone has their own plans, obviously.
Yeah.
So some people could readjust them enough to participate, and some couldn't. So he's talking about Hiroki is gained weight during. Wow, this is like okay.
I'm not translating this.
Yeah.
ちょっとまだ出せる。
ボクサーみたいになってきてる。
仕上がってなくて。
He said that her plans to get in shape didn't match up with the stream,
That's why
so
she didn't want to appear.
participate.
Yeah. She didn't feel
I
confident.
get it,
in front of
dude.
the-
I put
in
on
front of the
weight during
camera.
COVID. I'm out running.
Didn't anybody
really
ever
trying
teach
to-
this guy? Like, there's some things you just can't say. You're not supposed to say.
He hasn't done our media training course, I suppose.
He's gonna get a call from HR, I think, right? He's
Not me. I'm
Here,
not
we just
participating in this
translated,
one.
guys. We didn't say 100% translation there.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. You're Soul Calibur Tekken fan. You got new information. Soul Calibur's got a new update. We have
Tekken Season 4.
Tekken announcements. We have online tournament series coming out. So definitely look forward to that. And if you're a Wi-Fi player, I mean, maybe now is the time to maybe try and test out the LAN cable before Season 4 comes. But finally, Arxis, I can't wait.
Oh, your title, man. Let's see what Ozawa-san has for us.
He took the final spot here. So I was reading the Twitter thread because they announced that they're gonna reveal something today. So everyone had all the character picks that they wanted, the character picks they don't wanted.
And this is how I kind of knew you. I'm like, that's that crazy foreigner that lives in Japan, that great Guilty Gear player before I actually met you.
That's my dude. But here we go. They're going to announce another online tournament. You know, the World Tours are all shifting to online. So we're going to have a Japan and an American one. Yeah. They don't have details. They just said that it is confirmed that they will be running it. So these are the games in Japan.
Nice.
BB Tag. Oh, Granblue, let's go. Guilty Gear, okay. I'm coming back. World's Best Leo.
So both Blaze Blue and Tag Battle, huh?
Yeah. Central Fiction, which is great because Central Fiction doesn't have too many events now. A lot of people move to Tag Battle, so that's really exciting.
And Unist as well, huh?
Under Night Ember.
Interesting.
So this is all the anime games that you really want to see right now. So this should be good. The connection, at least in Japan, amongst each other is very good. So you can get a lot of high-level play.
He's saying more details will be coming soon, so
nice.
please
It's
wait
this
for
year,
those.
so looking forward to that. And now in America,
this is the American version, right?
Yeah, America's just gonna have two games here. So BlazBlue Cross Tag and then Granblue Versus here, supported by TSB. Look at that. Level Up Esports Stadium, Low Kick Xseed Games, and Marvelous there.
Yep.
Cool. So all you guys in the States, I know, very tragic stuff for Granblue. You know, I like this game a lot. I play it, but it came out during Corona, so never really had a chance for offline events. But the people that have been sticking with it since the start, they've been asking for, let's get some big events. Well, here you go.
Here you go.
Yeah, we can see.
Next slide. What?
Whoa, that's awesome. Just a fan art of all the different games. Damn,
that's pretty tight.
Sick, yeah. That's man, that's awesome. Yeah, the devs are all hyped too. I'm Team Blue though. I'm definitely on Team Blue. I'm on Team Blue, man. I'm Team Blue. They got Persona though. Unfortunately, this is BB Tag. Man, I got hyped for it. I was like, come on, let's see some Persona, but that's BB Tag representation right there. Yeah.
So you said it's on the homepage,
yeah,
and
you
go
guys
check
can
it out.
download it, make a wallpaper, whatever. That's beautiful, man. That's my girl in the back. S, the one with the sword.
About October is when to look out for the tournament, right?
Yeah, for the details there. Great.
情勢落ち着きましたらなんですけど、BB タッグとグラブルバーサスにつきましては来年春頃、
Okay.
この結果に応じてですね、優秀者をお招きしての日米対抗戦のような。
Oh,
okay.
cool.
So the winners of Granblue and BB Tag, the American
Japan
ones,
and the America,
yeah. So
they're gonna
next
put them
spring,
together.
Yeah, next spring there'll be a showdown. So that's something if you win, you got something to look forward to in the future there.
おりますが、アナウンスさせていただいておりますけれども、ギルティギアストライブ
Strive announcement.
Here we go.
New
info.
お持ちしておりますので。
Here we go. He's got it.
では動画の方よろしくお願いします。
Right?
Nice.
It's
Gorilla season, baby. It's Gorilla season. 2 characters. Leo Whitefang, that is my boy. I saw everyone on Twitter like, please no Leo, please no Leo. He's back, baby. We're going to be botting everybody online. And then this is the mysterious Samurai who got his name reveal as well.
New character, right?
Yeah, Nagori Yuki. So they showed him off the very, very, very first trailer of Guilty Gear, and then there's been no new information since then. So finally, we got him. We got some playable footage. It looks like he's got 2 different modes or something too.
Exactly what Ozawa.
Nagori Yuki.
Ozawa-san is touching on at the moment as well.
They finally give his They're saying we didn't have his name or details, so finally he's got an official name here. Leo, how did they pick Leo? I thought Leo was going to be like 3 years down the line. They put him out right on the start.
Maybe they saw your saving Guilty Gear tweets.
Daisuke listened to me. Thank you. I like his new redesign. All the redesigns they look a little bit older, right? A little more mature here.
Nice touch there, right?
Yeah, and then down there they announced PlayStation 5, so I still don't know any details on that, but this is confirmed on PS5. The game looks so beautiful, I'm sure it'll look even better on PS5.
Wow.
Yeah. There's an arcade release too. They announced down there, so just hurry up and release, man. Yeah, so next spring. Yeah, it was supposed to be this fall, but they announced they're pushing it back until next spring.
But that's Arc System Works spring, so maybe it really is spring. It's not Tekken spring, which would be what, winter or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. They said the next announcement's going to be in August too, right? So. Or not,
really? October, right?
Sorry, October. They said new information, but not just that. I think the one in October is going to be even bigger. So they said there's going to be a lot more stuff in there. So look forward to that.
Cool.
Dude, as soon as it's over, I'm going home. I'm going to rewatch that trailer like 20 times. Got to break it down. I want to see everyone. I want to see everybody on Twitter. But I think he's going to try.
Wow. He's just asking who's the
hardest one to work with?
Yeah, the other publishers. He said if it just popped out, it would have been so entertaining. He was trying to trick him, but it didn't work. Yes is proposing who's like
the easiest to work with partner.
That's another difficult question for Japanese people.
Yeah. Harada's too westernized, you know? He spent too much time overseas.
Yeah, I think so. So that's all we have planned at the moment, right?
But yeah, this is just the first time. You know, it was kind of last-minute planning too, right? So it's amazing that it came together and everything. Guys, if you like it, please let them know online. We want to see more. We can get more topics, different discussions for the next time.
It'd be cool to do it again. You get to see more of Giuna and myself too if that happens.
But let's see.
With our special skills for Japan, right?
There we go. So yeah, so Fuhi now is signing off. So this is going to be the end of the first one. I had a great time with a lot of cool reveals and announcements. We had a nice behind-the-scenes talk.
Yeah, you never get to see the insight from all these different people in the same room. I mean, each might have their own Comic-Con panel or whatever, but talking to each other about this is probably the first time I've ever seen it.
And you know, we can't have announcements all the time, but they can always talk. So I would like to see this more, as long as, you know, more time to discuss and maybe some different topics and things like that.
But keep in mind, each one of these dudes is super high up in their respective companies, right? So I hate to think of all the meetings and other stuff they have to do every day.
Waving with Mori there.
All right, guys.
So they're having every person just say their farewells and their thank yous, right? So Ozawa-san, just thank you very much.
Ishitani-san talking about PS4 and Steam updates. So already started. If you have the time, please check it out. And he believes that the online experience should be better. But any feedback you might have, he would love to hear it on Twitter.
Again, if you guys are part of that rollback wagon, please follow Fighting Games Layer. Give them their feedback, their testing with everybody and taking data from around the world to try and develop their system.
And he enjoyed the stream and hopes that it'll happen again. Maybe you should buy some sunglasses.
He's like, man, maybe I should get some sunglasses too. He's like, I thought maybe I want to join the sunglass team.
They're saying that like you could talk, but it doesn't matter. People can't see where your eyes are.
It's like he's hyping up sunglasses.
He's probably sleeping, right? He's mastered sleeping. He's not getting caught.
Sunglasses are great. Like nobody can tell where you're looking during a meeting and stuff.
はい、
So
あ
who
り
we
が
got
とうござい
next?
ますそれでは、続きまして、SNK 様よりまずお
So
題
we got
を
SNK Oda-san and
お願いします
Kurok-san here.
はい、本日は、この中に、参加させていただいてありがとうございます。
Yeah, right. Thank you for letting us participate in this and
8月
everything.
6日にですね、放送日、無料コンテンツでダウンロード
Yeah,
でき
and
ますので、
so the new DLC character in Samurai Showdown is free, so she's free, so download it right there. But it's also happening during, you know, the free Street Fighter. All these guys are releasing stuff around like the same exact time in the next few days.
Next up is going to be Kurok-san.
本日はど
See
うも
what
あり
he's
がと
got
う
to
ござい
say.
ました。サムライのシーズン3と、キングオブファイターズ15。
Oh, he said they said King of Fighters finally. Yeah. So, look forward to King of Fighters details in the short future, guys. They apologized for not having it ready for today. You got to give everyone a little bit of a break because of the COVID corona situation and everything.
Right. Next up, Matsumoto-san from Capcom.
本日は皆さんご視聴いただきありがとうございました。
Thank you all for participating today. Street Fighter 5 will continue. And we're going to try our best, so if you will support us, it'd be great.
Yeah.
この格ゲー連合会開いていただいて本当にありがとう。
Thank you for holding this event, first of all, right? He's really happy.
2回目も絶対や
And
りたいので。
he's like, I definitely want to do it again. I definitely want to do a number
カプ
2.
コン側でこの皆さんのキャラクター使った集合劇とか手始めに書いたりしたいなとか思うんですけどどうです？そういうのがあるとまた次につながるかな。
What do you say? He wants to have an
He wants you
illustration
guys-
or something?
皆さんよろし
Some
けれ
about
ば
all the characters?
の方で書きたいなと思うので。
Yeah, I think he's talking
He
about having
wants
an
them to all
illustration with all the
draw
characters.
Capcom characters and start with that.
ありがとうございます。
はい。また、よろしくお願いいたします。ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
This was started by Bandai,
では
right?
続きまして
Bandai
It's up, it's up to
Bandai is a
you.
different
You
company.
got to do it. Bandai Namco. You got a new weekly show. You got to start.
自分もなんかこういうね機会でいろいろ楽しめたんで、ぜひ本当に2回3回とね。
Nakayama-san also saying he had a very good time
大
and
会とかできたらいいなと思って。
he wishes that we could continue and even
Yeah.
maybe have some kind of tournament in the
2
future.
or
That'd
3,
be
and
cool.
yeah, that'd be cool if they had a developer game tournament or
That
something.
would be cool.
Yeah.
東映テクモゲームズ様よりシンボリを
Next we got Shimbori-san.
Uh-huh.
本日は皆さん見ていただいてありがとうございます。
Thank you all for tuning in
バン
today.
ダイナムコさん、このデッドライブ6今休止中なのにもかかわらず呼んでいただいてありがとうございます。
真っ先に来る。
And even though DOA is kind of
On a break right
on a
now.
break,
Yeah.
thank you for calling us to this
皆
opportunity.
さんにプレイしていただいているっていう現状もありますし、こうやって呼んでいただいて、この格闘ゲーム作ってる仲間たちがこんなにもいるんだなっていうのを。
But everyone's still playing the game and supporting it,
で
and to be in the same virtual room with all these
Yeah.
developers that you
冗
know,
談っぽくなってましたけども、
we feel like you know
この機会
friends,
にね私もちょっと
and it's a great feeling to be
何かできない
together.
かなっていうのを働きかけたいなと。
And I hope to be able to hang out with Harada more
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
デッドライブ6の方
It's like this kind of idea or being a part of this event here and hanging out with all these greats kind of motivated him to keep working hard because he wants to keep being involved with all the other producers out here.
様よりモチエ様よろしくお願いいたします。
Mochei-san from Koei Tecmo.
このような場にお呼びいただいてありがとうございます。
Thank you for inviting me to the event.
Thank you guys for watching as well until the very end. It's been 2 hours now.
まあ現在ちょっとアップデート休止中という残念な状況ではあるんですけれども、シンボリの方からも働きかけをしてくれるということも話もありつつ、ユーザーも基本無料版のダウンロードもまだまだ増え続けているような。
So again, they mentioned earlier there's the free version to play. So it's like everyone, please download the game, please keep supporting it because right now they said they're kind of taking a break of developing and updating the game, but they still want to, they still want to do more.
And the more you guys support it, it seems like more Shimbori-san
They
can work
get,
internally to
they can
do
get the
stuff.
money and the budget. So it's free, so give it a try, give it a download.
安田 e スポーツ様からお願いいたします。
Next from Yasuda Esports.
はい、ご視聴いただいている皆様、2時間かな。
Thank you for tuning in for 2 hours.
いや、本当にちょっと今回ですね、連合会の職員としてですね、皆様、
He was kind of
working on the project.
Yeah, he was kind of like the leader of this, of gathering everybody together and organizing all this.
ご協力いただきありがとうございました。
Thank you for participating.
次もやりたいなっていうよりは、次やること前提で。
He wants to do another one, but of course, the plan going in was obviously to continue to do this kind of thing.
次回以降、先ほども 再開もっていう話もありましたけど、
There was even like an idea of maybe having a tournament.
Yeah. What game? That's the question.
That'd be kind of cool.
Just do a non-fighting game, huh?
So that's obviously one of the end goals that we all have. So we hope you'll continue to tune in when we do it again. It's quite difficult to get everyone together like this. But thank you all for helping out.
Yeah, this is Saturday morning.
Good job, yeah, Yasta.
Everyone got up at like 7, get ready, and then we were here yesterday for rehearsal. So, you know, these guys are just out here doing it. So nice. Is it Okubo-san? Oh, he's going to talk smack.
Harada brought everyone together, but there was a comment that asked if he talked to Sega. Harada's like, I can't hear you, but my internet connection is a bit spotty at the moment.
Harada, you said you talked to every company, didn't you? He was like, did you talk to Sega? He's like, who?
He's certainly been on various streams before, etc. But it seems like the foreign audience is quite large for this stream. And he was encouraged by the comments and the support from you guys.
There's a lot of viewership off all of the different platforms here. Yeah, so right, he's saying again, just reiterating that it's like this is not just in Japan, but everyone around the world is watching. So this is probably a really good chance right now because of Corona. You know, there's not a lot of offline events, so maybe we can shift to this kind of online discussion. And it's another person that says he wants to do it again. Man, they all say they want to do it again.
Of course, Harada's last. Fingers crossed he doesn't say anything like that turns into a problem.
He said, I'm really good friends with Sega. I could call them if I wanted, but...
It's true. He used to go drink at the Virtual Fighter guys like all the time before the COVID thing, right? We're just saying, like, everyone's extremely busy.
Yeah.
And to prepare all the materials and info and everything. And kind of last minute, you know, because all the plans fell through and we had to kind of pivot. And there's a lot of risk with something you haven't done before.
Yeah, we had a lot of problems last night. Thank God everything worked out today.
But when Ben and Namco is doing it, maybe it's easier for everyone to not worry about the potholes so much because it's our responsibility. But it's just saying the line group that we have for this, all the publishers, just to see everyone in that group, right? It's really good. That's kind of like a nice side product of this as well.
They're all, you know, different companies talking, not just on the stream, but outside too. Hopefully they can, you know, like Harada was saying earlier about sharing, you know, data and tech and stuff. Hopefully we can see more collaboration with these guys.
And even with the viewers, you know, what you'd like to see from, you know, future ones. But, you know, there's a lot of thought that goes into the time zone as well, and even languages, right?
Yeah, language.
So there's a lot of hurdles here.
Yeah, so he said we want to keep going and not just let's try and figure out what we can do. So not just a talk show like this, but they really want to run a tournament. There's got to be a punishment though, right? It's got to be some sort of boxing game. Harada's got to shave his head if he loses or something. I don't know. Oh, they said that maybe
I don't think they're talking about the devs. They're talking about like
just a regular.
You know, Capcom has their Pro Tour. We have our TWT, but maybe this would be kind of cool to have something together, right?
They still don't have any ideas, but let's work together and figure something out.
Just saying it was a really, you know, short timeline on trying to get this stream together. So we realized that maybe the viewers were expecting some things that maybe they didn't get, but we feel it's a good start. So if you just tell us what you would like to see in the future, and maybe that'll lead to more impactful things. So it kind of wants to grow this thing together. Is
We said
basically what we're trying to say.
if more people will keep giving feedback, we want more, keep growing, and we'll try from the next one. They want to try and do something even better.
And he said, we know you're all stressed from this whole situation of COVID, etc. But now we're all able to talk together with the various publishers. Maybe there's a lot of cool things you can do. So we look forward to your support.
So he's going to do his best to gather everybody's voices and opinions right here, and we're going to share them together with all you guys. But that's it for the first one. Thank you to all the producers and the devs who took place.
発表をバッて行うっていうすごいワクワクするイベントをこのオンラインの場でも見ることができたっていうことで
This is something that you can see online, this whole, all the publishers getting together to share their announcements, etc. It's very exciting.
I just hope people don't expect it every time, right? If we do it from here on, he's like,
いろいろなタイトルでオンラインの 大会であったりイベントが
So right, he's just saying there were a lot of announcements today, not just for updates, but there's a lot of online tournaments too. So because right now it's difficult to have offline events in this environment. So they're kind of moving on to online. So all you guys watching, let's all support online tournaments and stuff.
それでは以上をもちまして日本格ゲーメーカー連合会を終了
Mori-san's
と
still
させてい
waving.
ただきます。
But yeah, it looks like that's going to be the end of the first one. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Juna.
Yeah, thank you. Good job. See you guys on Twitter. Bye bye.